Okay, everybody, welcome to Arsenal Fan Circle. It's the Thursday night forum. Pull up a chair. You're all welcome here, and we're finally live. So that's on me. But welcome, Tony Shade.
Hi, Ray.
Tony the Shade.
What about the shade?
I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go along. Welcome, Gary
Hello, hello, hello.
and Stan. Welcome, Stan.
Hello.
Stan's
Hope you
having a
guys
dilemma.
enjoyed the little intro
I'm here.
video.
I'm just-
We'll do it a little bit better next time.
Are you over your dilemma, Stan?
Am I what?
Over your dilemma.
Yeah. And I've got to say, Tony, you're looking very strong tonight, sir. Love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, all he needs is a bat, or is it a 2x4, what do they carry? A crowbar? What do they carry in their in the jacket?
It's usually wooden baseball bats.
You look like one of the Irish mob, one of the Westies.
Oi, it's a very select group of people there, and I don't know if we can make that cut. We don't want to
sorry,
Uh-oh.
Tony.
Tony.
You came out a leg short.
I'm first now to make it into the cockpit, says Tony.
There you go.
Maybe it's because of my aviators. Yeah. Greetings, everyone. Stephen, thanks for joining us. BX Gunner in the house. Also, good evening, everyone. Welcome. At this rate, I'm going to have to roll blunt. Some technical issues, things don't always go to plan here over at Arsenal Fan Circle, but you keep coming back. City at the Etihad tomorrow. Let's run them off the pitch. We will get into that as well. Ray might be getting it in. I don't know what that quite means. Getting it on, getting it in. I don't know.
He's talking about your Blarney Stone, right?
Anyway, on the agenda tonight, we're going to talk about making up for lost time, right? So we got players that are making up for lost time, but we want
You got
Arsenal.
Ray making up for the last 10 minutes.
We want Arsenal to make up for lost time. It's been. I was born in '71. Okay, let's hear a little story from me. Born in '71. It took 18 years for Arsenal to win the title again in 1989. So we know all about that, right? Hopefully, it's going to be about the same time between 2004 and this year that we can win the league title as well, the Premier League title. Since 2004, it's been a long journey, right? We had a 9-year drought under Arsene Wenger between 2004 and 2013. We did win 4 FA Cups notwithstanding, but Arsenal now are in a cycle. I got it in early, Stan.
Very early.
Arsenal now are in a cycle where they need to make up for lost time. And we're in a position now where I'm not willing to say, well, if we put up a jolly good show, it'll be okay. I want to win it all now. We're 5 points clear, a game in hand, 50 points at the halfway mark. Okay, we're not going to be centurions, but we're halfway there. I don't think we'll get 100 points. But we need to finish this thing this season and start a cycle of 4 or 5 years. If we're lucky, we have to enjoy it while we're having this sunshine shining down on us. I don't know what expletives to use, but this should be our window. This should be our January window. This should be our window for success. And we have to make up for lost time. So who wants to go next? A little bit of a monologue there. Just picking up on the thread of what I said. Don't all jump in at once.
I guess I'll go.
Tony, go ahead. Make it up for lost time, Tony. It's been a long time since that last Premier League title.
We'll start off where Ray did. He was born in 71. I was born in 79. FA Cup year. Really started getting into Arsenal around 97. Mainly because I fucking hated Man U. Wanted a team to go against them. Liked what I seen on the field. Way Arsenal played. Fast players. Young players. It was nice to see. A couple of old ones on there, but for the most part, it's pretty young. It's nice and cosmopolitan. Players from all over the world. Lots of French ones, which I liked. And
Lots of Frenchies.
yeah, lots of Frenchies. Then we hit 2006, which would probably be our peak, getting to the Champions League final. Sitting there. An early red card cost us that. 2008. Should have won the league. But Eduardo broke his leg. Team's mentality too weak. 2010, 2011. Van Persie gets the red card for hearing the whistle blow. That's another Champions League final we could have probably got to. So we haven't been as far away during those years at the Emirates. It wasn't because of the Emirates. It's just happenstance stuff. I still think a lot of it was Kroeneke's buying into it. And now here we are with a new format of the Champions League starting next season. So I think that's why he went out, got the leaders, invested heavily as they did this summer. It's why they're investing this winter, unlike last winter. Still like to see solid Partey back up. But we're here. Like you said, we got to seize the day. We were here last year. Top 4 was easy for us to get. We could have probably got 3rd if we went for it. Instead, we lost 6 of our final 11 games. Not near good enough. Now we're here, like you said, 50 points halfway through the season. I don't think we'll need 100. I think probably mid 80s, high 80s, somewhere around there. Because I don't think City's as good as they've been. They might put more effort into the Champions League. United might catch the pack because they're firing on all cylinders right now. And it was nice seeing that rivalry being back last week.
Yes. Yep.
And we're to have new ones like Newcastle. It might be us 4 for a while. The last 4 I mentioned: Newcastle, Man United, us. Chelsea's probably not going to be there. Liverpool's probably not going to be there for a while. It might help them next year being out of the Champions League. Usually those teams, when they go out of the Champions League, they end up finishing high up on the table. But overall, we're where we need to be. I don't think we're really ahead of where we need to be. It just, a lot of the teams aren't great this year. I'd say they're 2 great teams, 2 decent teams, and they're not much separation from 5th to 15th or so.
Yeah. No, you're dead right, Tony. We are in a position now where we need to grab this situation, this possibility by both of our hands. And maybe I didn't say it very eloquently, but, well said, Tony. And we'll go to Stan. Stan, give us a little bit of a monologue. Where we've been, where we are, and all that stuff.
Well, we've won 13 league champions in the history of the team, and being born just a couple of years before Ray in '68, the 70-71 season was a little bit before my time. So I've been lucky enough to see Arsenal win the league now 5 times, and obviously see us go invincible, which was a mighty feat. And also see my team go, the highest team with the amounts of FA Cups that we've won with 14. And I know that there's probably a lot of gooners out there who may have come on board since our last title, in 2003 and then 2004. And you may not have seen us win a league, but you've not been barren in that time. There have been some other trophies along the way. And sometimes you have to maybe think of somebody that supports a team like, I don't know, an Everton, a West Bromwich Albion, a Sunderland. I'm just pulling names out of the air that haven't maybe seen their teams win anything, let alone maybe get into finals. So I think that we've done pretty well. And I'm in one of those situations that in the time that I've been with my missus, which is about 7 years or so, you know, she's become an avid Arsenal fan because I watch it so much, right? She's Canadian, and she hears me talk about the good old days and the invincible years, and she's seen some of the documentaries. But in the back of my mind, I keep thinking to myself, I wonder if she thinks I'm making this all up, because she's been there through the bad times, you know, the end of the Wenger era. She's seen how the fans have been really disruptive and, you know, pulled in half on different sides, and she's like, "Is it like this at all clubs? All the fans like this then in football clubs in England?" I'm like, I don't really know because I don't have much to do with them, but I don't think it is. It seems to be very, you know, the Arsenal fan base keeps a keen eye on everything that's going on, you know, and if they don't like something, it can cause little mini wars. And she's been through all of that. And she went through the Emery, you know, the Emery appointment. And now she's beginning to see over this season. I said to her just the other day, I said, this is what it used to be like. You see these games that you've been watching with me, because she gets up now if it's at a reasonable time to watch the games. I said, this is what it used to be like, you know. And she's like, wow, I can really see what's happening on the pitch. And you know, she talks about the Mikel Arteta effect and things like that. So for me, I'm really looking forward to getting through this season. And even if we don't win the league and we finish in second place, of course there'll be disappointment because it's a league title, but I still feel that I'm going to be proud of this team and that we're heading in the right direction. I mean, at the beginning of the season, you know, we all had our fingers crossed that we could get back into the big table at the Champions League, right? That was the goal. And not a lot of us were certain that we had enough about us to do it. So it just shows you how much this team has grown as a team under Mikel Arteta compared to the last 8 finishes. He's really beginning to knit this team together, and brilliant. And I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave it there for Gary. But I'm really enjoying this season, and it's been a while that I've been enjoying my football as much as I have.
Yeah, I'm going to get a couple of comments in, then we'll go to Gary. BX is going to say the Arsenal are back and maybe better than ever if the atmosphere is any indication. We're going to get into Manchester United game as well. We'll review that one, and of course the big game tomorrow. BX said, I swore I was sitting in the Emirates against United at how loud the fans were through my telly. I will tell you, on Sunday, I was into it. I was screaming at the television. And that was the most I've ever felt about Arsenal in many, many years. I was in it. We wanted to beat them so bad. Hopefully, giving Tony a monologue means he'll interrupt others less. Not guaranteed, but we can hope, right? So yeah, let's get one or two more then, and Gary will be up. I became a Gooner in 04, says BX, and that's the coincidence that's a coincidence because I never watched football. It doesn't matter how you find Arsenal; it just matters that you found Arsenal in the end. So Gary, what we have to make up for lost time here. Arsenal have been out of the big elite picture for many years.
Yeah, my story is a lot different than your guys because I always say I'm still like a newbie to being as
Yeah, tell us your story, but also
yeah,
comment on where we've been and what we need to do this season.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. Like you, I was born in '71, so that was the double year. Not I didn't know much about it because I was born pretty much at the end of that season.
Mhm.
But years later, I moved to the States, so my my introduction to football was a lot later than most. Probably the last 10, 12 years is when I've probably been following Arsenal a lot more. Um, I've kind of missed all the good ones. I was alive for it, but I missed all the good years. I
Yeah,
mean, you win five Premier League trophies in a 15-year period. That's a good stretch. You know what I mean?
not
Compared
bad.
to
Yeah.
right. So I missed that. I don't know. Maybe being invincible is why we're sitting in this little rut here. Takes a lot. You think about how teams go through like a cycle of winning and losing and whatnot. Maybe that's just you got your invincible trophy and maybe you pay for it a little bit.
Yeah.
The football gods, as I like to say.
Yeah.
So I've when I've been watching Arsenal, we've come close, right? We came close. We got second, which is really wasn't a second, but I've seen us go up and down, and now we've been out of the Champions League. It was painful to watch the Champions League sometimes because it always ended the same way. It seemed big team, we get
Yeah,
blown out. We
exactly.
try to come back, but we need to be perfect in that game, and it's hard. It's hard when other team doesn't really have to come at you for the whole game because they know they've got a lot of uh, a lot of goals sitting there waiting for you. So I remember that much. But I think you know what? We've been patient, and one of the things I've said over the years is that Arsenal wants us to wait, but I don't want to. But Arsenal is fine to wait, and I believe we're seeing the fruits of their labor, the time that it's taken. I would like to think they want to go further, but I kind of feel like they're still okay with not rushing this thing too much and taking a step back by making a rash move. So we'll
Mhm.
see how that pans out. I think they've somewhat been calculated. I like to think they've been calculated, but it's hard to tell when the whole Mudryk deal happens, and then they go and next thing you know, they've got two signings coming right afterwards. So as Stan likes to say, they kind of fail up sometimes, or they get lucky in some of these maneuvers, right? Because they're not like you don't plan that, right? You don't go, I'm going to spend 95 mil on a player. Oh, that fell through. All right, so I've got an answer for that. Two players, bang bang, in like a
Happy
48
accidents,
hour period.
Gary. I
Yeah,
swear, Gary, the football gods, they're controlling. Every time Mikel maybe goes to make a wrong move, they go, and they come in and correct it. I believe he's being guided.
yeah. So
Mhm.
hopefully they have that. Those the gods open up the skies and let in two more players before February comes because I think we need that. We
Yeah.
need at least one, but it'd be nice to get two. But I know they're calculated, and I as soon as I hear news about a player in the summer, I kind of feel like their direction has changed. They've already moved on. Sometimes when I hear that, because those players are we could use those players today, right?
Yeah.
The players that
Yeah.
they're talking about in the summer. Um, I would hate for this opportunity to get lost because we didn't have that one player or those two players that we need. Because right now I think we're pretty close. I mean, I was watching the United game and that first half. I'm just sitting there thinking, you know what, you got everybody's playing well, Nketiah included, yeah. And just to think that we don't have Jesus, we don't have Milsuf Rowe, you know, even Nelson came and showed us a kind of cameo that if he can repeat that again, we've got the numbers if we get
Yep.
healthy quickly. Um, Hopefully before we start having two a week, matches twice in a week, midweek games and stuff like that. So I think it was night. I watched that half, and I just watched the first half, and we know what we're doing out there. It's different than in the past. Like in the last number of years, you're sitting there going, "Do these guys even know how to play football?" Because it looked a little disjoint, but now it looks solid, and everybody that's playing is playing well. And for me, why Arteta will not go to his bench sometimes. He can't. He can't.
The
He
well
can't
is
go to his
dry.
Yeah, he he looks over then he's like, I don't have what I want, right? Even though I chose them, I don't have what I want, and he's feeling, I might as well go with what I got, than make a change and then maybe lose this thing. So I think it's a waiting game. We got to be patient, but I don't know. I don't know how close you can get to winning a title than we are today. No team
Yeah.
has been this good at this point in the season in a while, if at all. So maybe you just have to go and like you said, go steal that black credit card and just put it down on the table and buy what you got to buy and get
Yeah.
punished later. Get the
Yeah.
slap on the wrist or whatever it is. So no, but I think we are based on where we've come from and go from like just not missing out on Champions League to where we are today. It's everybody's I would think a little bit jealous because they would want that for their clubs as well. Um, but
Especially
we are ahead of schedule again. We were ahead of schedule at the end of last season. We're ahead of schedule now, and the team. I just don't. The team they will they will be patient, and we're not gonna like it. We're not
Yeah.
gonna like it, but we're gonna. But if it's for the long term, if that means we, you know we don't make it, but we can have like a nice 10-year stretch, then why not? right? You'd rather have a 10-year stretch than kill yourself one time and then struggle for another 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
10,
But
10 years would be great. I'd sell for 5 right now.
Well,
Stan?
that's all we've got time for, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Good night. See you
Uh,
next Sunday.
Gary went on a stereo.
That's
Just
fine.
did his
That's fine.
monologue there.
This is the
Can
time to
I'd like
slow
to
it
add.
down.
Can I ask a question to everybody and in the chat box as well? Because I'm at the stage now where, regarding how our season's going to finish now, I truly believe that we're only one piece away from stopping us winning the title. I think that we've got everything in place now, player-wise. My only concern is cover for Party, especially as El Neni seems to have a problem. I think that if we can bring in somebody that can cover in that position, then I think we're golden. I think that's the only thing that can stop us. And I just wondered if what everybody else feels. Do they feel, nah, we're good as we are, we can still do it, or are you in agreement? Or
I
do you
agree.
think it's another position?
I think everyone agrees with you, Stan. All of the Arsenal fan base agrees with you. We need somebody. We're not going to find another Thomas Partey out there, but we need an adequate replacement. Sambi still needs time to develop. Some will say it's going to be a loan for him, but
he is not
Okay.
going to back up Partey ever. That's just
No.
I don't see that as like, all right, in the future, that's where he'll go. I see Patino maybe doing that in the future, but I don't see Sambi doing that based on he's not that. I don't think he has that right demeanor. I
No.
believe to play in that position. That he needs
It
he needs
was,
to go get beat up in the in in the lower league or something like that.
let
Toughen him
me
up.
let me go to Tony. Go ahead, Tony. And then I got a question for all of you.
For me, on the Partey thing, talking about Sambi, he's good at going forward. Arteta likes having all these attacker players use his strength and go forward. We have strong defense with Gabriel and Saliba back there. Add Ben White to it. Left side's a little questionable because Tierney's fragile. Zinchenko's kind of small stature, likes going forward. So we're really not playing with a true left back. We're just most of the times we're playing with 2 people back there,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
we're doing good with it.
Combination of Zinchenko and
Even with
Tierney.
Partey, he's going forward. Zinchenko is going up the middle, filling
So-
in where Zaka's going as Zaka goes more forward. It's a very hybrid system. I think you can plug and play a lot of players. But as far as Stan saying we're one person short, I would go to Milan, go to their fire sale that Juventus is having after they got docked 15 points. There'll be plenty of players they're ready to get rid of because they're not going to be in the Champions League next year unless they win their appeals, which is possible, but that's not going to happen until after the season's over.
But if we
So-
don't get anyone in, sorry, Tony, I didn't mean to cross you. Go on. I thought you'd finished.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if we don't do anything in that area, have we got enough internally? Because that Kivior that we've brought in, who I know nothing about, but I did hear, after listening to people chatting about it, that he has played in a midfield position, and obviously Zinchenko plays in the midfield position. Sambi Lokonga is around. Obviously, a lot of us aren't confident that he's the answer, but if push comes to shove and we lost Thomas Partey for a small period of time, do you think that we've got that we can do it internally? I mean, if push comes to shove, maybe Xhaka goes back there, which is not what I want because he seems to flourish in that area, and you could put Vieira into maybe.
I think it's all about for
that.
how
But
long.
I mean, I'm just wondering if we
It's
do
for
miss
how
out.
long, Stan?
If we do miss out, is there any way that is anyone confident that we can still maybe sellotape over that if push comes to shove?
I think we can, but I think it's going to be harder as we go on further in other competitions because Arteta does not rest these players. Me and Ray were talking last Thursday after we ended. Martinelli already at 2,000 minutes. That's 2/3 of a season already.
Yep.
Saka's like 47 minutes behind him, right there.
Yep.
So,
and that's why Trossard is in there. To give Martinelli some minutes, give Martinelli some rest, and I would expect, not to get ahead of ourselves, but I would expect Trossard
Hopefully
to be
he's in
playing.
there because he's clinical. We
Yeah.
lack being clinical.
But I have
As
a
good as
question.
can I go real quick for
Yeah,
this one
yeah,
point?
yeah.
But as good as we played against United, we still were not clinical at all. 25 shots, 5 on target.
Yeah, but I think the XG hides that a little bit.
I don't care about that, Ray. I care about balls in the back of a
Don't
net.
set him off, Ray, for fuck's
All
sake.
right, so let me say this to you, Tony. We scored 3 goals, right? Now, notwithstanding, Manchester United scored 2 goals.
Fucking hell.
One was a worldie. The second one was, a very, very sloppy goal on our part. So we basically
When did we
conceded
score to win the game, Ray?
what?
When did we score to win
Yeah,
the
but
game?
the reason why we had to go to the 90th minute is because of the way that they scored. They didn't score because of their attacking. We set them
first
up on
one.
the first one,
Mhm.
and the second one we're really good on that. On the that's the first time somebody scored a header on us.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's why
I mean,
you make
but that is the reason why it took so long. But on another day, it's 1-0, and maybe we run out of there. You know what I
but
mean?
if it's 4-0, you don't have to freaking worry
Or
about
another
it.
day, it's 3-1, and that Martinez doesn't score that goal. Which
That's why I'm saying you should they shouldn't have been in that situation.
But the
if we
odds are
didn't
in
win,
our favor. You have to be perfect to beat us.
yeah,
Right? You have to be lucky and perfect.
and
Not too many teams are close to where we are. As being having a perfect game plan and everything like that. Newcastle tried it one way, they couldn't get anything out of it. Right? That team
yeah.
tried a different way. We beat them. Manchester
So
United actually came out and took advantage of our mistakes. Still, as you said, we still had opportunities to score. And but these are all new experiences for everybody. I mean,
mhm,
right? And Kedia had 2 goals and probably had another 2 goals opportunities where he could have scored in that game.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
I mean,
definitely,
I think I'll take those odds over where we were before, where we're not even thinking that we can win matches
yeah,
with 25 shots. Right?
definitely. Tony, would you have felt better if we won 3-1? You wouldn't be talking about efficiency and taking our chances?
I still would be talking about efficiency.
All right, we'll
Three
move on.
one, and
I've been
we would have a problem with a 3-1 score.
3-1 win, yeah.
Teams don't score over 3 goals all the time. That's just not
Uh,
normal. Unless
there's
unless
lots of
I maybe I don't
they're,
understand this
they're
game.
against a lot of these teams that we should have won 5-6
the, X,
nil.
the, XG tells us we should have won 3-0. Now, Rashford gets a great goal, profiting off of one of our mistakes. I think it was Ben White misplaced in the pass. But Martinez scores a goal off of Ramsdale. Look, we have human beings playing for our team as well. They're not robots. Aaron Ramsdale has made a mistake. He's held his hands up and said, thank you to the rest of the team for bailing me out. And that's called a unity. If you make a mistake, Tony, on the podcast, the 3 of us are going to cover up for you. Or maybe not. Maybe we'll.
You know how many times we have to
Depends on
do
the
that?
podcast.
I mean, you owe us. He's got a list.
People keep saying the pressure's on Arsenal. I disagree. The pressure's on Man United to beat us and change the narrative of the season. I think that's going to start happening, Don Juan. They're talking about City having to come to Arsenal and win. I'm still terrified over Partey. Let me ask you a question then, Stan.
Yes.
We saw in that Amazon documentary the interchange between Sambi Lakonga and Eddie Nketiah.
You think you're the only one, my friend? You think you're the only one that wants to play, my friend? Yeah. I love the way you keep calling him. I love the way you keep calling him my friend.
My friend.
You know that's like when someone says that to you, they're not looking at you as their friend. You know that, right? When someone says, "Let me tell you something, my friend," they're not being friendly. So
Yeah, you're pissing me off talking about stuff that I'm experiencing with you. Stop it.
Yeah. It was noticeable Lakonga came on to celebrate with Eddie on Sunday after those 2 goals. Do you think in some way, shape, or form Lakonga could take inspiration from Eddie?
I think a lot of players in the academy should take inspiration from Eddie because it does show you that at Arsenal there is a pathway into the first team. if you work hard and you've got what we're looking for. Unlike a Chelsea, for example, where much of their academy just go off on loan forever and you never hear from them again and they get sold or whatever. But we are showing, again, with ESR and Saka, there is a pathway from our academy. You know, the amount of money that we've saved on those positions is unbelievable. I mean, look at Eddie. Even if you look at what his contract is, which is, I think it's like, it works out to like 5.2 mil a year. If you work that over the course of the contract that we've given him, had we had sold him, we would have ended up still paying more for a package to bring someone else in.
Yeah.
Did you know what I mean?
100%.
And I'm not, and don't get me wrong, I'm not lauding it like we always knew this, because at the time I was like, "Whoa, is this the right thing to do?" And I did say that, right? So I'm not trying to swerve it like I'm in on the plan, but you look at it now and you look at the return that we're getting on Eddie, it looks like it was such a good move, and it's going to pay dividends for us.
Yeah.
I didn't believe Eddie when he said he needs starts to show us what he can do. I didn't think that's actually the way a footballer thinks, that I need starts. But he got what he wanted, and he's shown us, you know what?
I agree with you, guys.
play.
I was with you as well. I was like, mate, if you're only going to get 20 minutes at the Arsenal, you have to get 20 minutes and show me. But
yeah, and you're getting minutes. You're getting 20 minutes with what has become the best team in the league right now. They will provide chances for you.
Will Trossard need starts? I mean, how does it work?
Did you see how good he was when he came on for the 15, 20 minutes every time he touched the ball?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
the guy had a hard on. The guy had a hard on while he was coming off the touchline. That's how excited he was.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He was very happy to be there, and he wanted to show everybody in his little minutes that he had of what he can do. He's chomping at the bit.
Yep. And it looks like across the front line, he's going to help us. He's a forward. He can play left.
He can start for us, which
midfield.
is the good part.
Yep.
He can start for us. And like I said, in the first, 10 minutes of seeing somebody on the pitch, whether or not it's going to work. Yeah. And it worked. Even after that score, like later on, I was watching, later on at the end of the game, he's got the ball at his feet, splitting defenders and, trying to get into the attacking third. And it's like, yes, that's what we're missing, that little bit of a change in pace and play. So
that little piece at the edge of the box where there's 4 Manchester United players and he's using his left foot, his right foot, he's weaving in and out of those players. And eventually he doesn't lose the ball. He's able to put it back out into the left midfield position, and we're able to recycle.
All that's nice, but I want to see the same quality.
Now who's salty today? Who's got all the salt
Gary.
on them? I see it.
What happens when
I'm just going to call you. I'm calling you Mr. Morty. Right? Morty is in the house, people. He's got his glasses on. There you go.
Morty Turner. Is Fabio the Saka backup with Smith Rowe being Erdegaard's, Nelson being Martinelli's, and Trossard?
I didn't read what that said. I don't know if was it.
Nick's got to get right.
It was a dustbin. It was a picture of a wheelie bin outside of somebody's house. I don't know where Tony got this from, but somebody had written on the side of it, "Gary mucks about with gerbils."
Okay. Well, the gerbil gives Arsenal. There is a gerbil.
That's a Gary Neville, probably. It's not me.
Gary Neville, yeah, exactly.
Fuck knows where Tony got that from.
If we get a good replacement for Partey, my confidence will go through the roof. And I believe we are being linked with a player that nobody knows about. Okay?
Not even Fabrizio or Romano.
Hey. Can I finish my Trossard point?
Yes.
Well, as I say, is I want to see the quality that he has, that ESR and Odegaard has, that the fact that he's clinical. I want to see him be in a place where he can get up there, get the goals.
Haven't you seen him for Brighton?
You will. Tony, right?
The man his stats are equal to what we are doing. He was on a worse team. He was their leading scorer in the Premier League. What more do you want?
Put yourself in it. You got to put yourself in this guy. Tony.
He wanted to be clinical. He's as equal as what we have right now.
Yeah,
you think we have right now is good?
Listen, Gary.
try and put yourself in the guy's football boots for a moment, right? One minute he's playing at Brighton. He's had a bit of an upset with his manager. He's one of their best players. He's ostracized. He's having to train alone, what have you. He's not happy. The next morning, he's playing for a team that's at the top of the league. He's not taking that lightly if he's a professional footballer.
That's my point.
When the medals get handed out at the end, he wants to make sure that when he gets handed his medal, he's just not getting it for being sat on the bench and coming on and doing fuck all. He wants to get it and be able to look back and say how he contributed to earning that medal. You're going to see the best of Trossard. He's in the best scenario that any footballer could probably be in right now. Look at Mudryk. He's come all the way over to go to a 10th place team.
My sodium
Trossard's
levels
in
are
the
going
first
up
place
by
team.
being on this show.
Why?
I don't know about you guys, but my sodium levels are going up by being on this show today.
Why?
Because your man over there.
It's him.
Yeah, exactly.
You can cook fish.
Old
with
fucking
salt.
Dirk Diggler over there. Travis Bickle.
Tony wants to see him be clinical in like 15 minutes of play when the team comes back and wins it.
That's what I want to see, Gary.
It wouldn't let me put up the link.
We seen it with Smith Rowe.
I'll put it in the
Smith Rowe
description.
came on 20 minutes all the time. What would he do? He'd bag a fucking goal every time.
Did you see where he was playing? He was part of the reason why we scored the winning goal. Is that not a good thing?
I want to see him up front, Gary.
So you
not
don't
doing
think
the interlink stuff. You got Odegaard that can do that.
Gary,
I want to see him kick the ball.
Last week, Trossard was a left wing player. Now you want to see him up front.
I want to see him anywhere.
You will, Tony. You will.
I want to see him here.
I wanted a versatile. Me
like
and
the
Stan.
Pimpernel.
Me and Stan both wanted a versatile.
We seek him here. We seek him
he
there.
He was versatile. Where was he playing in the end of that game? Not up top. We didn't need him there.
He can even play at left wing back.
Right,
left wing back, left wing, right wing, and as a false nine. I mean,
how
versatile? Do you need him in goal as well, Tony?
A versatile player.
He is a versatile player. He plays on the left and right, through the middle, and the left. Oh, okay.
Ray Anderson.
What are you complaining about then?
That's why. That's the point. I don't get.
He's
complaining about something. You've seen him. You look at his stats. The man's missed like 2 or 3 games, and he still was leading his team.
I want to see him up front where he can score, Gary.
What does that have to do with anything?
We're not clinical. We need to be more clinical.
Eddie's not
clinical.
Did he look good?
Did he look good?
He looked good.
Did he look good on Sunday?
Yeah.
Eddie, we are being clinical. This is what will happen, right?
Other than games, shots all the time.
Other than games that he starts,
he doesn't miss shots.
Right?
Eddie's not missing shots.
One at a time.
They're getting blocked. Big difference.
I think Tony will find something to say negatively if we win every single match from now on.
Can I reply to that?
Tony, you are a positive person.
Mr. Speaker.
When it comes to Arsenal, you want perfection.
Okay, why do they go to fucking train? Why do they watch videos? To get better. I see things they need to improve on, so I say that. That doesn't mean I'm being fucking negative. It means I'm being critical, saying what needs fixed.
But okay. I know, Tony, you're saying that you want to see Trossard play through the middle, but I think he's going to be a player that when you see him start games, whether it's maybe in an FA Cup game, which is a good time to start him, or a Europa League game, you won't always see him start in the same position. If the manager thinks, I want to take Saka out of this one, he'll start on the right. If he wants to take Martinelli out for that one, he'll start on the left. And the same thing that probably in the league, when you're going to see him coming off the bench, probably to start with, to start earning his place, again, he'll come off the bench and he'll be deployed in a position where the manager thinks that other player needs a little bit of relief. So you're going to see him deployed in, I think, various different positions. And I think you're going to see that he's going to be able to contribute no matter which one of those positions that he's deployed in.
Mm-hmm. If you saw when Trossard was coming on, Cine was in his ears. Steven said, Nketiah is one lucky person. Had he been offside, he would have been killing him for deflect. He would have been killing him for deflecting a shot by Odegaard. I was going in anyway. I don't think it was going in anyway.
Yeah, the goalkeeper would have got there because he was almost there for Eddie's touch.
Threw his hat on it. Yeah. Almost. And
also you want your striker to be that instinctive. You don't want him thinking, as the ball's coming in, he's thinking to himself, "Am I onside? Am I offside? I'll leave it." And by the time he's thought about that, it's not a goal. I'd rather him being instinctive every time and not second guessing himself.
On Gary's show on Monday, Tony called Eddie a tap-in merchant, pretty much, right? And I think Thunder Road was right in saying he's a fox in the box, which I think is more accurate than
What is Francis Jeffers?
Well, no, not that fox. He's our fox in the box. He's a better fox in the box. 00 Slice X. Thanks for joining us, for sure. Yeah, so do we feel Lukonga could take inspiration from Eddie and Kedia? No.
Yeah,
Listen, my friend.
Yeah.
Of course he can, my friend.
Well, he should have taken it last season when Eddie came in and had that run of games, right?
Yeah.
That right there, he doesn't. It's not what he's doing this time. That happened last season. Look, give me some minutes, and he went out there and he showcased what he could do. So I just don't think Zombie is in the right position or given the right role that's going to fit his. He's not comfortable in the places that we want him to play him right now. He isn't. I mean, that's that's why I don't think he needs to go somewhere else to figure that out.
How much does Sambi cost us? But just to remind me, I can't remember.
Between 15 and 18, I thought, right?
17, I thought, yeah. Stephen said Ray wasn't target. I just don't think it was strong enough that it would have went in, Stephen. Even if Nketiah wasn't there.
Stay on target.
Yeah, he would have laid down on it, feigned an injury, and wasted another 3 minutes.
I think it would have went in.
I don't think so. De Gea was there. If you look at when the touch goes through and De Gea is there, that ball, as you said, had to change directions when Nketiah touched it, or else it's not,
Big up Don Juan. He's a fanboy of Tony. Tony is always right. They got your back, Tony. They got your back.
Tony's got a posse.
I know. Look at that, man. It's like,
His
you know what?
Posse, man.
I suddenly feel
he makes a phone call, and next thing you know, you're in trouble.
I'm suddenly fearful of what I might say. Tony said Trossard was left mid. Exactly, left mid last week. Now he wants him as a false
I
nine.
said he can play left mid.
Get after him. Get after him.
I said he can play there.
If Tony was a
He's
manager,
versatile. It's what we want.
your lineups would be very, very interesting. If you were the Arsenal manager, your lineups would be very, very interesting.
Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Ainsley Maitland-Niles, the first name on the team
mom
sheet.
posting stuff on here.
Amen.
Hi, Tony. What are you drinking? I'm sure that is
Shandy. That's all we allow.
My mom knows you.
Shandy.
Doesn't even know you, but she knows you.
I heard about this Tony fella.
Is that your mother, Eva Johnson?
Yeah, it is.
It's not coconut water.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Hold on. Hello, Gary's mum.
It's
I'm
regular
Stan.
water.
I'm pleased to meet you.
Yeah.
I work with your son on here and doing the podcast.
That's Stan from,
and he's
Stan
a really
from
good boy.
Vancouver.
He's a very good boy. He
Never curses or anything.
Unlike myself, Mrs. Johnson, your son doesn't use bad language. He's a good lad. And it's a pleasure to have you with us this evening, Mrs. Johnson.
There you go.
Absolutely. Tony, they aren't robots. Even big players miss chance too. That's the reason that this is football. Tony.
It's been happening this whole year.
But you know what? I believe everybody has to be perfect against us. They have to be perfect against us. That's the only way that this happens. Our game, our style of play is really good.
Look at Stefan. He's the
what happens
here.
if we
Fox in the box? Who's a tap in?
If we don't have the two center backs that we have, we'd be in trouble.
Yeah, and
this is a team sport. You're
We've
right.
had plenty
this
of
is why we're top of the league, Tony. Why we're top of the league.
Ray, do you consider 25 shots and only 5 of them on target? Is that good?
When you score 3 goals, it's good. Yes.
If you hit the crossbar, is that considered on?
Let me ask you this
question. Is that on or off target? If you hit a crossbar, for example, is that on or off target?
On target.
Let me ask you this question, Tony. If you get 5 shots on target and you score 3 of them, is that good?
Yeah.
Tony, there were 13 block shots according to one of these stats. 13 block shots.
Blocked.
Gary, That's
13.
one game. We
Now,
have not been clinical.
one minute you're
the
talking
entire
about one game. Now
season.
you want to move the goalposts every time we bring up something. You just said 25
It's
shots with 13
that's one
blocks.
example. It's not the only time
Gary.
this year that we've done it.
So, Gary,
If
how
you're
many
shooting
entries?
at goal and the ball's going on target, and then someone blocks it, does that not make it then go off target? Do you know what I mean? Because someone's blocked it, it's now making the shot off target.
We had the most entries into their opposition's box out of any team this season. And what happens when you have that many entries into the box? The defenders compress into their area. Now you got to beat 8-9 players within the 18-yard box, Tony. You're obviously going to get a lot of block shots. Does that make sense?
Be like Odegaard, shoot it out of a box. Shaka's did
You're
it.
not making any sense, Tony. Tony, you're not making any sense.
Tony wants everyone to shoot from the halfway line.
No, look at those shots.
Come back to the halfway
Eddie's
line.
not
Get
going
in
to
the
be
box.
shooting from
Saka's
outside
had
the
him.
box.
He wants everyone to
Odegaard's
bend it like Beckham.
Saka and Martinelli are going to be shooting from outside the box. You know why? Because they're in the box every time. I was just listening to
Saka
the
made
game.
one out of a box just for other week.
Every time he touched the ball, the next thing I heard was in the box, because that's where he was most of the game when he got the touches. He was able to get in the box so easy, right?
Yeah, because you're overloading the attacking part. You're using
You
your
don't want
left
us to
back
be
as
in
a
the box
winger.
attacking?
Okay.
You're using your right
Tony,
back as
Tony
an attacker.
Tony has his opinion. He feels we were not efficient enough. I think if
We
you have
haven't been
5
all
shots,
year.
I think if you have 5 clear
There's
shots
only
on
been a
target,
handful of games we've been clinical.
no.
We're the second leading team in
Yes.
scoring this season.
Yeah.
And you're saying we're not good. What? What? We're leading. We're at the top of the table, and you're saying we're still doing bad. We lost
Okay.
once.
Needs improved.
We've lost
Needs
once,
improved.
Tony. One
Needs
team has
improved.
beat us in the league. One.
Man United.
Still needs to be improved.
Okay. We can move on from this. Tony's going to have his opinions, and he's sticking to them.
But it makes no sense. His whole point.
You're
Ray's
right.
point,
It makes no
You
sense.
make no sense. Is
no,
what you meant to say,
Ray's
right?
point makes no sense. If you can't be critical, then why the fuck do you practice and train?
Language, Tony. God,
Why do you train?
Mrs. Johnson's here, Tony. What's up with ya?
Her son brings it out of me. Sorry.
Here's the thing, Tony. Manchester United defended really, really well. We had that many entries into the box. They had to get back behind the ball. They compressed into their own box. It's difficult to shoot
But we
through
still won
bodies.
in the 90th minute.
It's difficult to shoot through bodies, Tony, when you got 8 of them in the box and the goalkeeper.
Shoot deep. You've seen Odegaard do it. You've seen Saka do it. That's why I want to see Trossard. He's clinical. Smith Rowe's clinical.
BX is telling us what he's smoking. Tony has the white runs.
I'm out of white runs. I'm out of white runs, BX.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have not smoked today, BX.
Gary.
Yes, sir.
I remember we were talking about Eddie, and we said by the end of January we would know what we have with Eddie. He's got a great chance coming back after World Cup. So what do we see in Eddie after these 6-7 games?
Well, the key thing for me is that he's teams know he's there, so now they're realizing why they need to know where he is on the pitch, because he will try to score, and he's been actually taking a lot more shots than I thought that I've seen him in the past. So he has been a threat in the middle there, and the more and more he continues to do that, the more they have they can't come out and support when Saka or Martinelli break down their man, because they have to worry now about him in the middle there, and he's always there, which is the good part, right? Because the ball's going to come in there. He's got a couple opportunities where the ball's coming in, so he's doing it. He's doing what I expected him to be there in the middle there, right? With Jesus, Jesus is going to come back and get the ball and then have to run back in, but and Katie is always going to be there, and see, it's working, right? We are managing the middle. right? I think I was thinking about this while I was watching it. When Jesus comes in, we don't need him to do as much work. Is he going to be actually as efficient if he can't do that work as well? Because that seemed to open things up for us. Because that meant he would get the ball higher up the pitch, and then there's a lot more space for us when we attack, right? Whereas Nketiah is always there, so when they put the ball in, there's going to be at least one red shirt in the box. So we have different ways to beat you, and that's good to know. It's good for us to know, anyways. So no, he's doing really well. I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see it. Yeah. Try not to say anything negative because I can always I always feel like I
Is
go
there any
negative at one
chance?
point.
Is there any chance that Eddie stays up front and Jesus goes to the wing?
Yeah, there's no reason to rush. One, there's no reason to rush
But
Jesus back,
we're
and
gonna
then, but I was just gonna say, yeah, we don't have to, but now we can rotate. The difference that I know of is when we have Jesus up top, all three of our players up top can interchange. With Nketiah there, we're not going to do that as much, just because of the stuff, because of what Eddie brings to the table. So we open ourselves up when we can switch players. You'll see Martinelli come to the middle, or Partey, or Saka come to the middle, and they kind of rotate around each other. So I kind of feel like that opens up the defense for us a little bit more.
Yeah, because he's dropping back deeper, covering deeper.
Yeah.
So
So we get that kind of a attack from a further back in the pitch, which
yeah.
there's going to be a lot of
I'm not
space for
sure
us to run onto.
I'm not sure if you need that though with Zinchenko and Zaka and everybody else pressing forward. I'm not sure if you
I think
need
it's the
your.
evolution of the team now, right?
Uh,
I'm
Before
not sure if you
Jesus
need your
needed.
striker that far.
I
Though.
have to disagree there. I have to disagree with you guys because I'm a big proponent of if it isn't broke, don't fix it. Now, obviously, I never wanted Gabriel Jesus to get injured because at that time I was worried that the backup for him wasn't going to be able to pick up the slack. However, if I was a manager, my way of is I've brought Eddie in now, and he has done more than pick up the slack.
That's
He
why
is
I asked the
producing
question, Stan.
and he is providing and he is producing. And until he stops producing, he's earning his place. He's earning his money. It's up to Gabriel Jesus now to come in and take him out. If you see what I'm saying, I'm not saying that he should be sat up in the stands of a sniper
So
rifle. I'm
would you
saying it's
put
up to him now in training and the times that he will come on when Eddie now would need a rest on maybe 70 minutes and Jesus comes on. It's now up to Jesus to battle for his players. I would not just be like, oh, you're up and about now, are you, Jesus? Back in the team. Cheers, Eddie. Put you back in the cupboard until we need it for next time. That's not I know some people might want to do that, and other managers or other people have that style, but that's not how I would reward a player.
Can I just say, I'll go to you, Gary. Can I just say there's none of us are right in this and none of us are wrong in this.
But what do you guys think, though? Do you all think that?
Yeah.
Do you and chat box as well, right?
That's why I asked the question.
Let me ask this question, right? Let's say our next game is tomorrow and Gabriel Jesus is ready to go now, right? Who would you put in? Or it's a league game. Would you automatically just switch Eddie straight out and put him in because he's back and ready to go? Or would you ask him to earn his place back off the bench? And
I'll take you all the way back to when Jesus first was entered the game for Arsenal. He came in the second half, and within 5 minutes, we scored.
What game was this? The first game?
The preseason match. He came off the bench.
Yeah, Everton.
And within 5 minutes, whatever, we scored. And
Yeah.
that's the levels that we're talking about. That's where Nketiah is trying to get to, right? He didn't start, right? So he wasn't moping about not starting. As soon as he came in, boom, 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 things opened up, and I was giggling the whole time. I was like, damn, this is what we got now, right? And he continued to show that throughout the rest of the preseason into the season. Things started to die down a little bit, I think, when teams figured out if they knock him about, it'll slow him down a bit. But that's why there's a difference between the two for me right now. And Nketiah is showing that he can hold his own, but it's totally different level, different types of players. They bring something different to the game. Yeah, if we're playing, I guess we'll find out when we play City. We got City in 3 times in the next 2 or 3 months. We'll play them. we'll see
Yeah,
that. We'll see
Twice
what
this
that
month.
how
But
that.
we're not winning games in spite of Eddie and Nketiah being in the team. We're actually winning games because Eddie and
Yeah.
Nketiah is in the team.
Yeah.
Just like the Man United game, he got that winning goal. He started the scoring
Yeah.
off. He ended it. He bookended the whole game.
No, but I'm just so for me, that just means the evolution of the team. We're getting much better at whatever Arteta wants, right? But if Jesus was there and we were still on the same progression, where would we be? We might even be higher up in terms of where we stand in terms of goal difference and goals scored and all of that. We could be, right? Because he's more of a threat. He just gives another ball handler on the pitch, right? So then that might open things up for us even more, right?
It's
So
interesting.
so for me, that's the difference between the players, right? And Keita he's gonna have to sit there and wait for the ball to come to him. He's not gonna always go back and kind of
Eddie,
start that. He doesn't have that rapport with Martinelli for sure,
I
right?
think
I just remember I forgot what match it was where you had Martinelli and Jesus basically instinctively just making one of them makes a run, the cross comes in, boom, score, right? I think it was
Leicester game.
Martinelli put a cross into Jesus and he heads it in, right? I think that was it's one of the teams in blue we played, but
Leicester, I think.
yeah. So I mean that's the difference in the players, right? So
I think the beauty in this is that there is a debate.
Mm.
We can't decide which one because that means we have got two very good options in the team.
Yeah.
Eddie is more of a pure goal scorer.
It's not like we're all sitting there going, I can't wait to Jesus to come back. Fucking hell, he's just killing us. It's
no, we don't think that way now, but it's just like another weapon in our tool, another tool in our tool belt, right?
Mhm.
And most teams don't have an answer for it
Another
because they didn't before he
weapon
got
in our
injured,
arsenal.
and now with the team the way we're playing, it's just like wow, if he comes back,
Jesus.
if he comes back, right?
I
Yeah.
just hope we don't rush him back too much.
Look, I think
I'm
what
already
is-
tired of seeing training photos of him.
there's no need to rush him because Eddie is doing a really good job. He's integrated with the team. They'll both jive with the team slightly differently, but as long as they can, in general play.
and we've got cover now. We've got Martinelli and Trossard. There is cover. It's not so barren on the striker shelf anymore.
Yeah. Jesus has proven his worth in
Good
goal.
evening,
He's
Mr.
like
Tom, as
harder-
well. Just a shout out to Mr. Tom. It's late where
Yeah,
he
Mr.
is.
Thomas joined us.
And
But
everyone
he's-
else in the box. Because
Of course.
I used to do this shit at the beginning, and Gary started doing the welcoming. And Gary, I just saw Mrs. John.
Everyone.
So I said, I was trying so hard not to swear.
You
I
can
said,
no. You know what? Don't do
it's
that.
not a bad one though, right? Shit's not really a bad word. But let me say hello to everyone. Mr. Tom, the Arsenal misfit, Ray Anderson, Mrs. Johnson, of course, is in there. BX Gunner, Don Juan, Stefan is always in there with us as well. But the big question is, when will Why Not return? Where is he? Is he alive? Does anyone have a sit rep on the man? And I
The
mean, I hope he's
return
all
of
right.
Why Not?
Look for a smoke signal.
What happened?
Why-
Everything started going good, and it just
Why not check in with
this
us?
is the time for you to come in for
I
hugs.
think-
We
Stan,
haven't
this-
seen you
this
what,
was the
like
time.
3 weeks before the World Cup break? It's been that
I
long.
hope
was-
he's all right. I hope he's. I mean, because sometimes we all know each other through online and stuff, and sometimes you see like someone doesn't turn up
Yeah,
anymore, and then you find out something bad.
Yeah, exactly. Steven said, we don't press as hard as Eddie up front, which is making it easier for our opponents to come out up there, and our forwards are lining up closer to the center circle than when Jesus was playing. Maybe the less pressing that Eddie's doing means he's got more energy to score goals, and maybe it could be the difference between the output of goals right now.
Eddie's what you want to be. Eddie's being there as a striker, being up front.
Yeah.
He's not back in the midfield like Jesus is.
Yeah.
You know what? One of the reasons why I believe Jesus had to come back is because our play isn't where it is today, right?
Yeah.
We are really
evolved.
good. Like it just, as you said, we've evolved now where Jesus would not even have to come back as much now. If you look at the way we've been playing,
Yeah.
right? We are controlling that midfield, and there's no reason for him to come back to support the midfield, the center of the pitch anymore, because we're all, between Partey, Xhaka, and Erdegaard, that whole middle is basically we're fine, we're set.
How did you leave out Zinchenko out of that?
He
Oh,
comes
I
in
was
later,
gonna
yeah.
get him.
But yes, so the four of them, we're controlling most of the field, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Um,
the good part for us.
BX Gunner has decided why not. I saw him 2 days ago. He is doing well
Oh, good, good.
in some of the chats that he prefers. If Eddie keeps scoring, why change him?
Yeah.
On one. I believe we're going to get to a point where we have Eddie and we have Jesus, and we will have enough games every 3 days
It's
to
always nice to have options and variety, right?
be able to rotate
Yeah.
properly. You know what I mean?
But
I may have mentioned once or twice
Who-
that Eddie is a good striker. Yes, he
but
may
who
have.
would you
Tony,
drop for Jesus? Would you drop Martinelli or would you
It
drop
doesn't
he-
matter.
Saka?
It actually really
Keita.
doesn't matter. It's like our fullbacks. When
You
we
drop
first
Keita.
Nketiah?
started, it didn't really matter who we dropped because we were able to win with whoever played.
Mhm. You'll
So
start
it's a
Jesus
good
when you
problem to
play.
have. We don't. It doesn't really matter who we
So
drop.
you would start him in the middle? Right?
Doesn't matter, Tony. It doesn't matter. Is what I'm trying to tell you. You can
It
drop
does.
Nketiah. You can drop Jesus.
As
Right
long
now,
as
we
you
know we can
play
drop
him.
Martinelli. Right, Saka is maybe the only one. Maybe we don't have an answer for
As long as you
consistently.
play, as long as you play players who are comfortable in the positions they're going to be in. I don't think Eddie's comfortable on the left or the right. Let him play through the middle. Gabriel
Yeah,
Jesus.
that's why I asked where you play
Yeah.
Jesus at.
You may want to see Trossard and Kedia and Jesus all in one lineup, Tony, and you might get that at some point this season. You know, Xhaka hasn't banged without Jesus. He hasn't been as effective, hasn't been as dynamic, but I think he has been effective. Would that be fair? He hasn't been the Granit
He's had
Xhaka
to do it like
before,
this
but
means he has to do a little bit extra work.
yeah.
Right.
Well, I think there's times where we've seen him helping Partey in midfield, particularly that Derby game against Tottenham, when Partey missed something in midfield. Granit Xhaka helped him right there. So maybe Xhaka's had to be mindful of midfield a little bit as well.
Yeah.
I would let Jesus start the Europa League games at first, and then see where we are at.
Yeah. I just saw Mr. Tom's comment about Nketiah being he'll be a little bit pissed off if he doesn't start
Yeah,
just when Jesus comes back.
yeah.
But for
That's what
me,
you want.
that's the same way that Nketiah shouldn't have sat is the same reason why Jesus should play. They both kind of waited. It's the same. It's a different coming from different angles, right? Because it was Jesus' spot. He got an injury. When he's back healthy, is he not our starter? You know what I mean? Yes, you go by form as well, but when he's 100% to go and he's gone through that cycle of games, be it in spot duty or in the Europa League or FA Cup, depending on how long we last there. But
I think
he
I think that's a valid comment from Don Juan. Martinelli has looked a little bit separated since Jesus has not been in the lineup, and that's just purely because Jesus works in that inside left side of the field, which where he would be closer to Martinelli.
I disagree with that.
Go ahead.
So then, how are we going to work it then? What if Martinelli doesn't play one day, or he's playing one day, and we play Trossard? What does that mean? He has to form a relationship with Trossard, and if he doesn't, that's Trossard's fault. Or if Trossard's playing instead of Martinelli and he's not working, it takes time to form different relationships.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? It does take time, and it will come.
I think it's because Zinchenko was gone that
That's a good
Martinelli
point.
wasn't getting the support on that left side that he was.
Fair. Yeah.
That's a good point.
Fair point. It's slightly different mentality with Jesus.
That's also up to Arteta to see that and have an answer for it, right? So to get the best out of his players too, right? Because he's seeing that as well, right? Why is all of a sudden Martinelli not looking the same? Why is Xhaka not looking the same?
Now,
right?
I don't think he cares though. Gary has this one.
I'm sure it's been identified in your work, and ESR will be coming into play a part. He'll have to work with other people around him. So it's what they do in training.
Yeah, it must be seen because when we bring Tomiyasu into the game, he doesn't play the same way. When Tierney comes into the game, I know he tries to, but he's not an exact replacement. The style has to change, and we get the best out of them when they come on the pitch. So obviously, they are looking at the differences in the players and what they bring. Nobody's getting cookie cutter players exactly the same one sitting behind. And I think many people even say it. We don't want the exact replica sitting behind them.
I think
need to bring
Tierney's
something
really
different.
trying though.
But also as well,
Yeah, he
right?
is,
Before
yeah.
before we had Odegaard, and ESR was playing more of a part in the team, and he was playing centrally sometimes as well. I remember an interview where Arteta was saying that, we like ESR, but we're asking him to be more decisive in the box and go for goal more. And what started happening? He started seeing that his goal tally went up. So instruction is being given, it's being worked upon. Then we brought in Odegaard, and I remember a similar comment from Arteta saying that, we want him to be more decisive in the box and to shoot more. And what's happening? His goal tally is coming up. So these people are paid to look more professionally than we are and identify these things. And from what I can see, they seem to be identifying in certain areas. So they want their tip of the midfield, which is Odegaard. They want that person to not just be creative, but to score as well. And we're seeing that happen,
Yeah. Tony, did you want to come back on anything? You had disagreed on something or not?
No.
Okay.
No. Oh, that makes
No, I mean,
Yeah.
if you recall, like probably 1 or 2 seasons ago, we were looking at the stats, going what we expect from our players, and last season was to get double digits in scoring opportunities, opportunities, and we hit that number. Now we're looking to get in the teens now for our players, right? So gradually, as they get better, and we're already there. From like Saka's already he's got 13, I think it is, right? So we're already there in some cases, and we're halfway through the season. So it should only get better as hopefully we get more players to help them out.
Yeah, Mr. Bungle, we are happy that you are our preferred viewing when you are taking a slash.
And can I just say, for those of you that are not in the UK and you're looking at Mr. Bungle's message, he's not saying that he went out with a big knife and started trying to, cut his way down. He went to the toilet. That's what that means.
Spend a penny. Yep.
He spent a penny. So there you go.
This isn't the first time he's told this.
You can put your telephones down now. There's nothing bad's going on. You just
listen. Great to see Mr. Bungle checking in with us as well.
I didn't know what it meant the first time he said it, but
very surprising. Okay, the first goal that Eddie scores. Listen, looks like a simple goal. It is. It's a header.
You know what?
Try to put that away,
there
right?
from Don Juan before we go, or no?
Don Juan, I asked this question before the World Cup, right? Would you guys sacrifice the Europa League in March? Gives a better chance in the league.
Yes.
Yeah. I know.
Arteta's not going to. He's not going to sacrifice.
I'm going to mess with Stan's completionist here. Europa League or Premier League, Stan?
Oh, if I could only choose one,
then
the league is the bigger prize, isn't it? That's the biggest, the bigger recognition.
Yeah.
But I would like us to scratch off the Europa League as a cup that we've won, a competition that we've won, and then from now on we go into the Champions League and we forget about that.
Yep. I'm for the Premier League as well. Listen, it's time to add number 14, please. Let's do it.
Would you try to go for?
Well, see, if that's the case, then that's why this window is important. If we don't bring in the numbers, if we don't bring in the numbers this window, then we can't say that we are going for the Premier League, because that requires more games, right? So I until I see 1 or 2 more players come in, I assume the team's just going to play their heart out for whatever games they put in front of them, right? Because if you want, like, we know what the answers are, right? Can we get Rice or whoever it is today, right, and pay over and beyond?
Or not happening this month, is it? Not right.
Yeah. So it's going to be hard, I think. Because I thought that Danilo kid would have been fine to bring in, because he would have been able to play behind Partey.
Is that the one that went to Forest, Gary? Is that the guy that went to Forest?
Yeah, I think it's Forest.
We're going to see if he's any good, won't we? We're going to see him up close now.
Yeah.
I believe as a team, you play in every competition, and until you get to March or early April, you really don't know what your targets can be.
I don't think you can turn it off, and I think that's the problem. When you try to turn it off, you take we don't want to be taking losses.
No.
Right. I think it kind of it stops the flow that you have, the rhythm that you have going, when you kind of just say, you know what, well, we're not going to play to win this one, right? And not necessarily we're going to just not play well. It's just I think mentally it's hard to just say, you know what, we're going to go in here, but I'm not going to give you guys a chance. The players that are on the pitch, I'm not going to give you the best chance to win.
we've gotten to this point in the season by trying to win every duel, as Mikel Arteta said famously. He wants to win every duel. He said it in Spanish accent, though. You know, Steven said I would ditch the Europa League unless we get a Partey back up. I'd like to keep going in the every competition that we have as far as possible. That includes tomorrow.
I like the idea of in the Europa League to fielding a slightly weaker team, maybe to start games with stronger players on the bench to maybe come on and help if we're struggling, or do it vice versa. You start games with a slightly stronger team because we have 5 substitutions that we can use. And if we're in a game and it looks like that we're ahead in this game and it's quite comfortable, then just swap people out. But I don't, a player like Teabag, a player like someone like Lokonga, Trossard, these players, they only get better with minutes.
Yeah.
They need time. They need to be able to have an opportunity to show what they can do and make a contribution.
Yeah, there's no reason to keep Zombie if you're not going to play him. Either he goes out, like for me, that makes no sense to say, oh, we're going to keep him because we're concerned about Partey, but then we're not going to play him until we really need to, and then we put even more pressure on his back. I mean, that's not. I always say that doesn't help. I don't want you to be ready to play just when it's needed. I want you to be ready to play because you've got them, especially somebody who's young. El Neni doesn't need it. Holding doesn't need it, right? But Marquinhos and Zombie, they need the minutes. Even Fabio, I think, needs the minutes to get Arteta comfortable and confident in his play. That's not going to happen if he's sitting on the bench and he comes in when you expect him to do something and he hasn't been playing consistently for a bit, So
the problem is Arteta has to trust him.
He won't trust him unless he plays. They have to play. And that's why I always say those 5, 10, 20 minutes, they have to show something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but most of them aren't.
I like what Mr. Tom says here about starting Jesus in the Europa, as Eddie is showing him how to score goals in the league. Yeah. So you start the games with Jesus in Europa, and obviously, because we still have quite a thin team, Eddie's still going to travel. He's still going to be in this match day squad. And if Jesus is struggling and Eddie has to come onto the pitch to bail him out, that's going to tell us something about where Eddie is. And vice versa, if we're starting Eddie in the league and his form starts to dip and Jesus is coming off the bench and contributing and helping us to win games because Eddie's struggling, again, that will tell us what we need to know about both players and who is, the pecking order. And you'll find that go on.
I don't think it has to be a competitive atmosphere as well. It can be they can support each other.
Well, we've got to keep it. No, it's got to be competitive, man. It's a sport. There's got to be a little bit of competitiveness in there. Did you hear what Ramsdale said? He said that that he knew about Jesus coming in for some time because but the Trossard one, he said that they didn't. Because he said you have to remember that he said Trossard's not coming in to make up the numbers. He goes, when I came, I think I'm paraphrasing, but he was saying that when he came to Arsenal, he was coming to take the place of Bernd Leno to be the number one. That's what his mission was.
That's the mentality as well. Trossard wants to play. Now we want to see Martinelli come back with something to say, hey, I'm still here. Or, Trossard is playing.
And he hasn't had that because even ESR, who would be the one who could give him a problem, hasn't been available. And I think that sometimes when a player knows that there's no one to take their place because of an injury or a suspension, and they maybe in the middle of having not such a good game, I think it can be very easy for that player. And I think sometimes Hector Bellerin may have been victim to this because Hector Bellerin for so long had no cover or much competition, and there was a huge drop-off that anyone that came in that position, if he found himself having a bit of a stinker, I'm guessing it must be easy to say to yourself, okay, I'm having a bit of a stinker, but you know what? In the next match, I'll show everyone. I'll be back to my old self, because you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm going to get picked for the next match because there is no one else.
So the thing with him, Stan, is
you get comfortable, right? You get complacent a little bit.
With him, as soon as he lost his speed, he was never himself.
Well, you know what? I think there's also you have to learn.
Pocket in. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and I was gonna say you also have to learn how to play when you get when he got to that point, and he didn't change at all. Like you said, he lost his pace, and he still didn't adjust his game. Because I don't think a lot of the problems I had with him had to do with the fact that he didn't have the paces. A lot of times he would put himself in a situation where he left his center back unprotected, right? And that's not because he didn't have the paces, because he just would bomb up the field and leave him, and that's the problem I had with the way that he was playing. Is I
Mhm.
get you lose pace, but you got to be a little bit smarter, I think, when you play that way.
This
So
is these are the teams that we're avoiding in the next round. Manchester United, by finishing second, I think, on goal difference. They were unlucky to finish second, but we'll take it as rivals. They got to play Barcelona, so there's going to be a bloodbath in the next round, and we're waiting for the victors to come from these 8 ties. So these are the third place teams from the UEFA Champions League that have dropped down, and they're pretty decent teams. But we won't face them till later in the season. But I just thought I'd throw it up there for everyone. Yeah. So the other Eddie, Gary Eddie got that goal, and I think it was as a consequence of the short corner being taken. Wan-Bissaka must have been on that back post for the corner routine. He's out of position. Eddie schools him a little bit there, and he's there for the header, a tap in header, as Tony would say.
same way he got, the header, he doesn't know where he is, and that's kind of this similar thing as to what happened when he scored the game winner as well. They didn't know where he was, and
Mhm.
thought they played him off sides, but nope.
They lost him. Yeah. Great goal to equalize, Stan. The thing about Sunday's game was there was only a few minutes between each goal. They go goal up, we equalize. We go goal up, they equalize for the 2-2. But it was vital that we got that 1-1 pretty quickly after losing that first goal.
I like to think of it as that every question they asked us, we had an answer for it.
Yeah, yeah,
It didn't matter how many times they came a knocking and how many questions they put in front of us. We always came to the door and we had an answer for it. And that, this could be one of them matches that when you look back at a championship winning season and you look up at those couple of games that may have defined your moment, this could well be one of them. Also, the North London derby as well at the Toilet Bowl, another one. And so now we're going into that period now where we're gonna, our fiercest opponent, allegedly, which we're being told, we're going to be facing them 3 times now before the end of this journey is over. Once in the FA Cup and twice in the league.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see that tomorrow. And I hope I'm not jumping too ahead about tomorrow, but I'm interested to see whether tomorrow is going to be used as a dress rehearsal or whether both teams are going to go with a slightly weaker team so that whoever loses can turn around and say, well, we were basically playing our B team, but don't worry, we're going to come correct in the league and, you'll see a better account of ourselves. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go. And the smoke that Pep is blowing up Mikel Arteta's skirt, it's hard to see whether he's being genuine or whether it's some kind of a mind game or, these two are, we know that these two have a very strong relationship, and we know that Pep Guardiola, and this is a strong word, at one point in time when, Mikel Arteta was a young player at Barcelona, his mentor, the person that he looked to was Pep. This is like a young Robin van Persie looking at Dennis Bergkamp. It's in that way. So it's going to be interesting. But I don't want to jump too far ahead.
No, we can get into that Pep comment because I think Gary knows that we've had a lot of duels with Manchester City. Arsenal played City many times through the years. It hasn't been the right result for us. But at no time did we see Arteta on the sideline celebrating.
No, I mean, if you think about it, we showed last year what we can do, and we are a much better squad than we are. And that we showed for 45 minutes how good we are, and we're a much better team. So I would expect that them maybe taking a step down, us taking a big step up. It should be a good match. It's and
we're
it
gonna
may
preview that one a little bit later. But Pep was basically in a press conference saying the whole time Mikel Arteta didn't celebrate scoring against Arsenal, and Pep was like, "This guy loves Arsenal." So many have said that Arteta wanted to come back and bring us back to former glories. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's doing it. He's doing it, and he's showing the steely determination, elite mentality that many of us wanted to see, but didn't think we'd see it from Mikel
I have an
Arteta.
interesting question.
Yeah.
Do you think Arteta would have failed when he was first offered a job and turned it down?
Yes. It's all about
Something.
football. Is all about timing.
Yeah.
You know. So basically, Gary, what Tony's saying, if Mikel Arteta had gotten the job instead of Emery after Arsene Wenger, what do you think would have happened?
Well, one, you got to look at the structure of the team, the club. What's happened since Wenger's left? Like they've restructured and changed how we do our business in that middle management area, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
whole Kia
Raul,
and Raul, that kind
the
of
agents. Yeah.
that you would have to overcome that, and Wenger could, because he's that good of a manager, right?
Well,
I mean, I like to think if he had his way, he would have been able to do things a lot, closer to what he wanted, and not have to overcome the frailty and the mistakes of those above him, right? And that's where uh,
I
Unai
think
Emery got
I-
shafted a little bit there, is because he did not have the right support above him. And when those things came to light, they cleaned up shop and did things a little lot better. So I don't think it had anything to do with Arteta coming in. The structure was just not set up right for a team
also,
for life
Yeah.
after Wenger,
That
basically.
was my point of a question, though. Because
yeah, but also I don't think Arteta would have been ready. He didn't have enough time under Pep to.
and what's weird, Arteta refused it because he wanted more input, but he came in as being called coach and not manager,
Yeah.
which is kind of
Well,
weird. I'm surprised he didn't want more.
He probably fought for that manager role as well. He wanted a little bit more control over things. He could see maybe what was needed to be done as well. We wouldn't be in the position we're in now if it wasn't for Pep, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I also think the way we boxed Manchester United in the last 30 minutes reminded me an awful lot of 2013,
Yeah,
2014,
but
where
don't forget,
we recycled the ball incessantly. We kept the ball. We kept Man United penned in, and that reminded me of Wenger ball in the 2014
That's
season.
how we started the match, if you
but
remember.
don't forget,
That match started the same way it ended. We basically were on the front foot within
but
the
we not
first
gloss over
within,
something
within the
here, Ray.
within the
Yep.
first minute. We were
We-
taking a shot, right? And within the first 3 minutes, we were sitting basically in the attacking third for most of that time.
Yep.
And I think that's what surprises teams, and then they have to come out of their shell and figure things out a little bit differently,
We
right?
surprised.
Like same Newcastle, same thing. Came out for the first 10, 15 minutes. Whoa, 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 whoa. We can't have that. We got to go in our shell, put 11
We're
players
like a
behind the ball.
turtle.
Let's figure this thing out.
Yeah, they were like a turtle. All of the precious parts went into that hard shell, and they weren't coming out. Tony, you had something to say. Sorry.
Sitting here talking about Pep, talking about Arteta, we're kind of glossing over something. The other Padawan, which is Ten Hag. He also was developed under him.
We didn't forget
Ten
about him.
Hag what?
He's not our manager. We don't care.
Arteta developed under Ten Hag. Is
No,
that what you said?
Pep was under the same.
Oh, Pep.
Yeah.
Who was Pep under?
Ten Hag was under Pep
Okay.
in Germany.
Okay.
He was like, I think he was Division 2 or the League
Okay.
2 or whatever it was,
So,
coach. Or something like that.
Tactically in this game, Ten Hag makes a mistake for me, Tony. He takes Anthony off and puts on Fred. He's become more defensive after 70 minutes.
He was playing for a draw, wasn't he?
Yeah.
We weren't.
Tony, is that the right thing to do for Ten Hag? I know you're an
I
admirer
like
of Ten
him. Of course, he's gonna make mistakes. Every manager does.
Hag. It's okay if he makes mistakes. Okay.
I didn't say it's okay. I'm
Because
saying
you rep
he's
Ten
gonna make
Hag,
them.
it's okay to make mistakes, but we're not efficient enough. You're slamming.
Maybe he doesn't have the answers that he
Because I'm
thinks he
holding
needs.
us to a higher standard,
Okay.
Ray.
I got you. Okay. Listen, I thought we played a lot like Arsene Wenger team, penning Manchester United back, and we were only it was only going to be one team scoring that goal. And for me, I saw somebody on my timeline say, I wanted a facile 3-0 win, really assert our authority. But I actually think the team will get more juice out of a win like this. With
It works
beating,
both ways.
tell me,
The North London Derby, you win 2-0. It didn't seem like they were going to get anything, especially with the way Ramsdale was playing. You take that. This
mhm.
one, you take that.
But
But at
doesn't
the end
this
of the
one
day,
feel bigger?
who gets the 3 points is key. We're going to win both ways because
Yeah.
we have that. Like Tony said, we could have been up 3-0 at half, right?
Doesn't this one feel bigger though, Gary? I mean, a bigger team, a better win, a bigger win, a more emotional win.
Could have been up 3-0, but it was always block shots, wasn't it? Because as Tony said, we had 25 shots and only
No, but I
5 on
mean,
target.
I think they both are what we need, right? They both are helpful, and we've shown that we can play to a 0-0 draw. We show we can come out there and pretty much dominate with a 2-0 win. We've shown that we can come back after going down. Like we responded to Liverpool every time they scored. We responded against United when they scored, right? Both games 3-2, right? Big
Mhm.
teams, top six, big six teams playing. We
You're
responded
right,
to
man.
all of them, right? We responded in the first United match, right? And then things went a little bit way haywire for us there, but we've shown that we can respond. We just can't, you know, can you go down 2 goals and come back? That's a little tough. Manchester City showed that they can do that, but
Yeah.
recently, not too much, right?
Yeah, but they've got a cyborg playing through the middle for them, so it's a little bit unfair, isn't it?
Yeah, but it doesn't happen consistently now. Like last season, it seemed like they would go down, a team would come out like Burnley or something like that, come out and have their way at the for like 30 minutes, and then next thing you know, they would wake up and the match is over. So this year, not so much, right? Not so much. They're not
Have we
that
have we
consistent.
have we had a game where we've gone 2 goals down and fought back? I'm terrible
No.
with scores and stuff, but I don't believe we have we? That could be a test. But
Yeah.
it's nice to see that we're not even putting ourselves into that position in the first place, right?
Well, Arteta started with our defense, right? When he came in, he's been solidifying that defense so that
Yeah.
we don't have to, right? We don't have to, and and now we've got everything at the top, everything on the back line, the middle. We're a little jelly, right? A little jelly in the sense that we got a good starting 11 in the middle, or starting three in the middle, but we need some more help there. But now, I think. Yeah, I'd rather not play around. I'd rather just win these games early. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got it in us. We can go and get games and in the first 15 minutes, pretty much close it. Shut teams out. And
Uh, Steven said for me, the most surprising moment other than Saka's goal was early second half when Partey was tracking back. Anthony caught him. Yeah, he put the afterburners on, caught him up, passed him, took the ball away so quick for a big man. And that's when you
He's like a
met. There was
gazelle, wasn't he?
there was many instances. Eddie and Kedia sliding tackle in the first half. I think it was Erdegaard coming back dispossessing um, Ericsson outside of our own box
yeah.
in the first half. Also, so these are challenges within the game that you have to win these ones.
And if I recall, the stat is Troussard does that, but in the attacking third, he's able to come back and retrieve the ball. So that's we don't have to go back to midfield. We're being attacking third, getting the ball back and countering right there from there.
Yeah,
So
What I like to
it's,
see with this, what I'm liking with this team as well, is that when mistakes happen, the player who makes the mistake will almost find another gear to try and get them to sort of make up for it. We've seen Gabriel do it, haven't we? A couple of times, and I
Gabrielle
felt
and
that,
Odegaard are the biggest two, I think.
and I
Yeah.
felt that Partey was
Yeah.
he was to blame for
Yeah.
the first goal, the
Yeah.
Rashford goal, which is very
Yeah.
uncharacteristic for him, where he allowed the ball to get turned over, and then you see that his head doesn't go down, and all of a sudden he's running up there like Steve Austin, the $6 million man, to catch Anthony
Yeah.
and get the ball back to just give us a little bit more. And I'm liking to see that in the team. This is a team that's playing for each other. They make a mistake. They don't go into their shell. They jump out and go, okay,
They dig each other.
sorry,
They
I
dig
messed
each
up
other
there.
out.
I'm going to make up for it.
Listen, Partey loses in midfield. That's a world-class shot from Rashford. To be Ramsdale.
I mean, both of those shots, right? I mean,
yeah.
Rashford and Sackers. I mean, they're both like, okay,
world class. 2 world-class goals, right? I mean, Saka's better, much better goal for me than Rashford. Of course, you're going to rep your own player. Saka just takes it on his own shoulders. He's a sign of the confidence in the player, Gary. They can take this game on his shoulders. He's going to win it almost by himself. Eddie scored the winner because I willed it to happen. Because Saka almost
can you keep willing? Just keep willing. If that's the case, don't stop.
And look, we did say last Thursday Eddie hadn't scored in 3 games, so we were thinking he would pop up in this game.
If he scores tomorrow, he'll be the first Arsenal player with double-digit goals for the season in all
sitting
comps.
on 9 right now, isn't he?
Yeah.
2 in the Europa League, 2 in the FA Cup.
I mean,
1
we've got 5 players or 4 players all in double digits for scoring chances.
What I like, he goes for a couple of games without scoring. He's still in there. He's still making things happen. And then against Man United, it's not like, he scores a goal in the middle of 2 other goals that we've scored. You know what I mean? A goal's a good contribution. He scores the first goal to get us off the mark. And then when we were drawing with minutes to go, he's still in there. He's still fighting away, and he wins us the game. I mean,
Don Juan is right with the XG that he puts up, and then he rewatched the United game. They didn't do much. You take away their goals, and they offered nothing. They scored.
You think so? You think, as Mr. Thomas said, if Casemiro played as a draw, I still feel like we win. We can still win it. I don't think we would score as many goals. It could be like a 2-1 affair.
Yeah,
I believe our front 4 is a lot better than theirs as a whole.
As good as Casemiro is, he does have flaws, and he is not very mobile. And there are a few times where he's easy to run around because he just plants himself in front of the back 4. And when that happens, and a player has the better of him, and I think that we have a lot of mobile players, he then makes bad time tackles, which is the reason that he was missing from the game in the first place. If you look at the tackles that got him out of the game, it was because he was getting a little bit run ragged by a player and was trying to make a decisive tackle and mistimes it. Booking.
He's trying to bail players.
I'm not taking it. I'm not taking it away that he's a bad player, and he's a good player, but he does have flaws.
And he's trying to bail out McFred. He's McTominay and Fred. He's trying to bail them out.
No, I mean, like I said, I kind of feel like we are as our 11 is better than theirs right now. They might have a lot of money spent in theirs, but they're not clicking like ours is, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we're missing Partey, it's who knows how that game would go, right?
And I think it's a case of not that we've got the better team at the moment. I think it's more of a case of we have the in-form team at the moment. Everybody's doing their job. It's okay to have. Look at Chelsea.
Yeah.
I mean, on paper, if you put some of the players next to each other, it wouldn't stack up. But they're not.
Sorry about that, Mr. Tom.
They're not able to gel it together.
Exactly.
They're not able to gel it together as a team, and this is a team sport.
I have a question for all of you. Who do you want to get through to tie, Manchester United or Barcelona, Tony, in the Europa League? Who do you want to get through?
I don't care.
No, I'm asking you a question.
Choose
Pick
one.
one.
Don't
Life
care.
depended on it.
No, answer the question.
Flip a coin.
You have to choose one. What would it be?
You asked us a question. If we said I don't care, you'd be like, "What's the point of me?"
What do you think? Do you care?
Answer the question.
Do you want Arsenal to win the Europa League, Tony?
I don't care.
Who do you think is the better opponent? He hesitates.
Well, I'm sitting there thinking, I just want to win the Premier League. Everything else would be
all right. But switch your mind over to the Europa League right now.
But I was going to say this earlier, but we didn't get to it. My thing is those players are getting so many minutes. How long can you keep feeding Saka, and some of other guys that many minutes. I mean, 2,000 minutes
I don't know,
already.
but answer the question.
I used to
I'm
play
getting
football in
to
the
it.
park every single day during the summer holidays. I didn't play in one day and go, oh, I can't play now for 3 or 4 days. I just played every day. They want to play, Tony.
I just think
They know when a player's. Remember, they call it. They know that
there's
special
gonna be a lot
machine
of
that
minute
tells them
on
when
those
players are
legs
in
at a young
the red.
age.
When players get
Barcelona
into
Don't
the
remember
red.
his age though.
Barcelona
A
would
lot
be
of
the
minutes
glamour
on.
tie for us, right? And we don't like United. So yeah,
I'd like United. I'd like to show everybody that this ain't no fluke of what's going on here in England in the Premier League.
yeah.
That we are able to start battering these teams at will. And there's a part of me that says if we do Barcelona, people are going to go, yeah, but you were playing them when it's their bad time. They've got all those problems, and
The British team though.
I'd rather stamp our foot here in England first and
Not
to
a
show
British
everybody,
team though.
everybody that's saying, hold on, everyone that's saying you ain't played no one yet, you ain't done nothing yet, to get Man United and knock them out of the Europa League. That's like next.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
But
Gary, I'm kind of thinking Barcelona. I'm afraid of United in the Europa League game.
I don't think we should be afraid of anybody. That's kind of how I feel right now.
Okay.
We know, we've
Who do you
we're
want?
beating United, but like, it's.
Who do you think
Gary's
will
like, I want us to play the Harlem Globetrotters, man. Let's just play them and beat them.
or the green team that they play. I want to
Who
play
do you
that
think
team.
will win? Do you think Barcelona will beat them?
I think Barcelona. Well, I think it's actually going to be a good game because Casemiro will
Mhm.
be in there, right? So
Yeah.
I think that will be actually a good
Oh,
match.
that's
Rashford's
spice.
been playing
Well,
well, so I
yeah,
think
yeah.
it's an even game. It should be a really good match.
Okay.
I kind of
So-
felt like, at least the way it seems, I think United could win that.
Okay.
But
We'll get into that in a little bit.
Is it one game or is it
2
two
weeks.
legs?
2 legs, I believe.
And when is
Tony.
the game, by the way? When is it?
why are we talking about 2 legs? Again?
February 23rd, I want to believe.
Okay.
Tony, who do you want? Have you decided who you want to win?
Yeah, I know who I want. It's a fucking team that I started supporting Arsenal because of them, because I hated them. It would be United.
You want Arsenal to face United, right?
Because
Okay.
I think we need to get it because we're gonna be going toe to toe with them and Newcastle for the
You
next
think that'll
probably
be
4 or 5 years.
You think that's the way it's going to shape up in the next few years? City, United, Newcastle, Arsenal. The reshaped top 4.
It
All right.
might not even have
Fair enough.
City up there.
Yeah.
I'll just say this to Mr. Tom, right? My missus, his nephew, he's an up-and-coming basketball player. That's all he does. He plays nationals and all that. And I saw the other day that the Harlem Globetrotters are going to be here in Abbotsford in Vancouver. And I said to my missus, why don't we take Fallon to see the Harlem Globetrotters? And they were both like, who the fuck are they? And then I had to try and explain to them who they were. I was even whistling Sweet Georgie Brown, telling them about Meadowlark Lemon, the cartoons. They were like, are you making all of this up? I'm like, okay, forget it. Just forget it.
Have you ever watched them, Gary?
Yes. Come on, if you're at our age and you don't know the Harlem Globetrotters,
I'd like comics of them. They like comic books.
That's like wrestling on Saturdays at noon.
No, I'm saying
Come on,
watching them live.
They're cartoons and everything. It's like Fat Albert cartoons, weren't they?
Exactly. Yeah.
They drive around.
I think I have watched them live. I think.
Really?
I think so.
Wow. Ray Anderson said, "We aren't
I've seen
afraid
both troops of them live. I've seen the really good ones and the kind of a.
When I was a kid, I used to think, why don't I just put them in the NBA, man? They'd win every year, but it don't work like that, does it?
It's exhibition, right? We aren't afraid of anybody. I want to trash United and not make the mistakes of Sunday. Barcelona beating United means United are all but eliminated from all trophies. That's a good point, BX Gunner. Yeah, they're out of every competition. I think we want. Do we want Newcastle to win the League Cup?
Yeah, I do.
Newcastle or United?
I want Newcastle.
Newcastle. Okay.
Yeah.
The Newcastle Empire will begin then. Okay. Okay. Zinchenko. Let's talk about Eddie real quick. Listen, I don't think Gabriel.
We talked a lot about him to start off, right?
Tony, I'll start with you, and you better formulate your opinion very quick and have a decisive answer for me. I don't think Gabriel Jesus scores that winner. Do you?
No, because he's probably not going to be in that spot.
Exactly. There we got an answer.
Maybe we're up 3-1 5-3, 5-2 at that point, and we don't need to score it.
Maybe, maybe. But Eddie really gets a good contact on it, Gary, after missing what seemed to be a very open chance earlier for him, straight at the hair. He's there at the right spot to put it away.
Yes. Yes,
Tony has been
like I
well.
said, he just needs to be in the box. Every time the ball goes to turns,
Cal missed those moments.
Tony's been questionable. We need VAR to check on Tony.
yeah, Tony's been okay.
6 out of 10, very consistent.
Yeah.
Boo.
Does what it says. What it says on the tin.
Yeah.
Stan, did you freeze yet? No,
No.
you're there. Okay.
No,
What'd you think of that goal, the winning goal? Does Gabriel Jesus score that? Probably not, right?
yeah, I think he's got that in his locker.
Mhm.
He's very quick in the box. You know, I think a trait that both Eddie and both Gabriel Jesus have is that they're both instinctive strikers. They're both very good in the box. You know, very instinctive. Try and get on the end of things. You know, putting it away is a different story. But they try to get on the end of them, and I think that Jesus has that in his locker to go for a shot like that.
Yeah, brilliant for Eddie to win the game for us, and we were on side. I had that hesitation. Did everyone else have a hesitation about the offside? I wasn't celebrating. Oh, I hate that.
I didn't. Yeah, it was
I
from
was-
the angles. It looks like he's offside, right?
Mhm.
Because you're just looking at it from that angle, and you're like, "Damn,
Yeah.
that was close." And then you're like, then you look at the clock, and you're like, "I don't know if we have enough time to." We almost scored after that, anyways. But we had a lot of touches in the box later in the game. But
double celebration, but the first celebration for me was muted because I was a little bit scared as well.
My first thought was just, oh, here we go. Here we go. One of them ones, here we go.
They're going to find a way. They're going to find an angle. They're going to draw a line. Watch Arsenal United first match at the Emirates. Eddie and Henry were with great headers.
Because the chance that Eddie had slightly before that got saved, which was a very good chance, because the clock was ticking down. I thought to myself at that point, I kind of resigned myself. That may have been the last chance we're going to get now. So we're going to walk away with a point. So I was kind of in that mode. And when that goal came at the end, it came really quickly. And I was kind of already thinking, okay, we're going to nick a point here. So to snatch another 2 points on top of that one at the end was very emotional. It was one of them ones where I was off the sofa and like, because I was resigned to 1 point. Now we've got 3.
Yeah, I'm totally invested in the league race and to grab 2 extra points against City. We're all waiting. We're waiting for you, City, but it's not happened. I better not tempt too much fate. Better not give them too much shade. Okay, happy coincidences, happy accidents, right? Think about it. We miss out on Mudryk. We get Trossard. We get Kivior. Maybe another player's coming in for that money.
Money better spent. Okay, I don't know Kivior, but we needed more than this one thing that may or may not be fucking excellent in years to come. We needed something for today, and I think
Hopefully
that we bought players for now. We're trying to win the league this season, not next season or the one after. It's presented itself to us this season.
Hopefully we get one more. Hopefully we get 2, but we can save that for Sunday.
I mean, it makes you wonder if you spend all of that on Mudryk. What does that say to some of your starters that you have today?
Yeah.
Right. You can't spend 80 on him and him not be in a situation where he can push people to the bench.
And it's not drugs, BX, it's beef jerky. That's what we deal in between me and Tony.
It's not just this one window, though. It's been 3 windows now that were linked to these 90 to 100 million euro.
No, it isn't. We haven't been linked to that.
Yes, we have.
Vlahovic was the last January window.
Stand corrected. See, I can admit when I'm wrong, Tony.
And then there was Thomas Lemar notwithstanding. A few seasons ago.
The other happy accident is Martinez. What's his name? Lisandro Martinez. We don't get him, but we do get Zinchenko. That's not bad, right?
Yeah. I'm telling you, I got this feeling that Mikel Arteta, right? One of his parents is like from Earth. One of them's a football god. He's like a half deity, doesn't know it. And he's like, like Jason with they're watching him like on a chessboard, and they're just making sure that he doesn't do stupid things like, he was going to put Saliba on the bench at the beginning of the season. I'm sure of it. And Tomiyasu, I think, would have started as right back, and Ben White would have started as a centre back. And the football gods were like, no. Ben White needs to be at White. They just made things happen. Modric, man. We were going to break the bank for him. The football gods were just like that. No. Come on, my son, let me guide you. And that's what's happening. They're guiding us.
This is the I don't know. I can't remember what happened in the beginning of last season, but
the 3 defeats.
Gabriel starts as a center back because Luis is hurt. Right.
That was never meant to happen, was it?
No.
Scores in his debut.
Yeah, exactly. So then, and now this one, right? Once again,
taking this too far.
No, but it keeps happening, right? What are you going to do?
Not the way I planned this.
There's been lots of happy accidents. You got
Emil Rowe coming in for the Chelsea match, right? In December, and you're like, well, this will be 3 losses in a row, right?
Aubameyang getting shit canned.
And nope. We go on a streak of wins after that.
Yeah.
No, but there's tons of them.
Everyone was like, shall we make Dennis Suarez, or whatever his name was, should we make him permanent? Should we make Dennis Ceballos permanent? Should we bring in Emi Bendia? And the football gods went, no. Yeah. And then they moved a few pieces on the board, and what appeared? Martin Odegaard out of the fucking smoke.
Let's state our stances on Modric. Stan was against it pretty much when it got to a certain point, right?
I would say that I would use the word concerned. I was concerned because I just did not know this player. He'd only played 50 games as a senior player in his league in the Ukraine. Flashes in the Champions League notwithstanding. I was concerned that it turns out that it was in the summer. It wasn't 30, it was 20 odd million. There was talk of him going to a team in the Premier League too. Was it Burnley? 20 million. How do you go from 20 million to almost 100 in 6 months? As I said before, unless the guy started to shit diamonds, I don't understand the appreciation of that. Yeah. Unless he's laying golden eggs.
When you have somebody with expendable cash and the market, they'll spend that. Newcastle, Chelsea will do it. We didn't. For me, my case was second bid around 60 million. That's it. Don't go any further. And if they didn't take it after the second bid, get out of there. Well, Arsenal stayed in there for a few more days.
And I also have this nagging feeling. I have a nagging feeling, and maybe it's more of a hope when I don't know it's going to happen, but I just have this feeling that he's going to be like a Timo Werner 0.2. Yeah. 2.0. He's going to do everything. He's going to be quick. He's going to get into the box. He's going to get into positions, but the ball's not going to go in the back of the net as frequently as you're going to think it should do.
Some part of me doesn't want to get bogged down on Modric, get bogged down in the mud too much, but we do want to get Gary and Tony to tell us. Gary, what were your thoughts on Modric?
Yeah, no, I mean, if the team wanted him, then they should go and get him, because at some point, as I like to say, I don't like giving 3 tries. First bid, all right. Second bid, forget about it. If you go to the third bid, you better get your player, right? And we went to the third bid with nothing really. They still weren't. Either Chelsea was going to outbid us no matter what, and if that's the case, then you just move on.
I think it was the add-ons, Gary. Like we were saying things like, part of that, 30 million add-ons. One of the add-ons was when he wins a Ballon d'Or. Things are quite out of reach. Whereas I think Chelsea, they went in and they made things more realistic, and the money was more doable and could be gotten quicker, if that makes any sense.
If you're going to spend that much on a player, you're expecting him to come with some quality. So it's not a big stretch. It is a stretch, but when you spend all that money, it's like I'm expecting him to be that good. So if I'm going to spend all this money, this is what I believe he can do for us, right? Arsenal Ballon d'Or just doesn't make any sense if Henry can't win a Ballon d'Or, right? I mean, why? Like,
Exactly.
You really don't want to make this deal happen if that's the case, right? So I don't think Arsenal went into it kind of 100%. They kind of went in there just to test the waters, kind of thing. They didn't come with like they weren't ABCs, right? They weren't closing this deal. So for me, it's 2 weeks wasted because Trossard
Mhm.
was always there. You know, Tielemans,
Yeah,
I think they could have made that deal. I
and
mean,
we
to
did
solidify
trust
the
our in
midfield,
48
and
hours.
Kawara would have been there because that name just came out of nowhere. So, like for me, if you have a Kawara, is that right? There's
KVR.
probably another player, maybe
Yeah,
a little bit more seasoned that you can bring in, right?
yeah.
Yeah, Nedved, man. How does that guy
Everyone
win?
praising Mudrik's cameo, also known as running past 492-year-old poor old James Milner, the oldest, one of the oldest midfielders in the Premier League, up against Mudrik, and he had to take a yellow card for that. Tony, real quick, your stance on Mudrik?
I'll go back to this summer.
Don't give me a war and peace.
No, it'll be quick. This summer, I thought that Rafinha, that would be a luxury signing. I thought this would be, but with somebody that you have no idea what their quality is, that he's sitting there picking up bombs and trash on the side. 21 years old, just turned 22, just played in Ukraine. Way too much of a gamble. You look at the team sheet, who do you see coming on? You see Rob Holding, you see Tamiyasu, you see Tierney. You don't see that attack coming on there. But now you do with the players we've got. Got Smith Rowe coming back. Too many holes. Nobody to back up for Partey. It's never an option for me. Even with a higher caliber player like Rafinha, when it went for him, I think we did the right business.
You hit the
I
nail on
don't
the
know.
head, Tony. Rafinha for me is a much easier, less risk than a Mudrik.
Hmm.
And I
It's
still
curious why we were after him.
He didn't. Well, one, he didn't want
Yeah, he didn't
players
want to come when at
he didn't want to
Barcelona.
come, so you kind of lose there no matter what the
Yeah,
offer is, right? I mean,
and
Mudryk supposedly wanted to come, but
yeah,
I think that was more on Shakhtar than it was Mudryk, right? They weren't going to sell. They wanted their money.
yeah, and but he also did want to come to Arsenal. But I suppose when the wages were presented to him, he's like, okay, I'll triple my wages at Chelsea. Anyway, that's Mudrik. Zinchenko. This is a quote from Zinchenko. We don't look far, we move step by step. I told the players I have something to look back on when you retire. This was in the huddle before the game. You need desire and hunger because all professional players have skill, pace, and know how to play. Just get out in front of your opponent and win your duels. This is advice coming from a player who's won the Premier League 4 times now. And I thought mistakenly, listen, Gabriel Jesus is a good player and he's helped us and he's brought a lead mentality. But perhaps Sinchenko has brought something a little bit more to this team.
I think for me, I kind of feel like where we are today starts with Jesus. If he's healthy, the sky's the limit. I would think Zinchenko's just also there, and he's bringing it as well. I just think if Jesus is heavy, I think we're even further ahead than we think we are today. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Because between the two of them coming in, we first saw Jesus come in and changed kind of you saw the team just basically changed when he came onto the pitch and stuff like that. Zinchenko's done the exact same thing. He's still around. He's playing now, and that's what we see. I kind of felt like they both would have brought something different to this squad than we had in the past years.
yeah.
Zinchenko's here, so we're not gonna say no to it, right? But
No.
yeah, I kind of
And
feel like
maybe
we
they
got.
maybe each of them bring something a little bit different, like Jesus and Nketiah. Jesus and Zinchenko, they bring something a little bit different, and each of them brings something very valuable, Gary.
Mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm.
know, the other thing he was saying, and then I'll go to Tony with this as well. I've forgotten what I was going to say.
Basically, you
But
shoot for the stars,
yeah,
right? And he hit the
this
moon. So
this is
you
the
should,
one Yeah, very similar to what you're saying, Gary. He came in the summer. I've said this to you before. I think players think they know where they're going to finish. Mostly, you look at your squad. You come in the summer, you look at your squad. I'm thinking about his son coming in on a Monday morning at Tottenham. He knows they're not going that far. He looked very get me out of here 2 years ago,
Yeah.
but Arsenal players may have known. Well, we're good enough to be fourth, maybe third, and Zinchenko felt that, said it. No, we're going to we're aiming higher than this. They laughed at him a little bit. Well, they're not laughing now, and they kind of
Yeah.
believe everything he said
Yeah.
this summer.
Well, it's one of those things where Arsenal, as many people were saying, we're catering to top four, not necessarily trying to win the league, and eventually you don't always get your goal, right? If your goal is top four, then you're never going to get that. But if you play, if the ultimate goal at the end of the day is to win a championship, but there's always a natural progression, right? Nobody just goes from eighth and then immediately is thinking they can get first without significant changes in what they're doing.
Mm,
Like unless
no,
you have injuries, there's no way you're just going to go from eighth to first, right? So there are milestones along the way, but the ultimate goal is to have the trophy in your hands at the end of the season, right?
yeah,
So I kind of feel like that's ultimate the plan. I don't think we were doing that for years. We were not planning to try to win a trophy, win the biggest trophy we got in England, right? So now that we are, and just like we are, we'd like to see us make sure we can
yeah.
cross the line.
And this is the elite mentality that they brought to us now. You know, the players are there, the talent is there. Tony Saka has the talent, Martinelli has the talent, Erdegaard, but maybe those who didn't believe, maybe Granit Xhaka didn't quite believe he could be in a team that's top of the league right now. Zinchenko has brought that belief to them.
Yeah, I think it starts with just his personality in general. He sits there in his own gym, paints the entire Emirates Stadium with him in the middle of it.
Yeah,
I mean, to me, he's been probably the biggest signing. I think he's bigger than Jesus because we play with this back too. He's linking up either in the middle or he's pushing the left side further. He was doing that real early in this season when Zaka was going up there. He was filling that spot, pushing Martinelli further in. And that's when Martinelli was really exceeding. But to me, I think he's such a natural winner. Jesus is too, but to me, I mean, you're seeing Zinchenko, the way he goes over and celebrates, the energy, the enthusiasm, and that winning mentality. He can tell those players, hey, I've been in this before. This is what we need to do. And I think everybody's listening. I don't think the fans appreciate Zinchenko enough.
they do now.
Hopefully.
Listen,
I mean, like I said, I kind of feel like Zinchenko is here now. That's why it looks the way it does.
yeah,
I truly believe that if Jesus was here, we would see it across the board with both of them. I believe.
I think.
Yeah.
I think it's good that we are having this discussion between Nketiah and Jesus, and none of us are right, none of us are wrong, and we can have the same discussion between Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus, and still feel we're not quite right or wrong about it because we can make a case for Gabriel Jesus and we can make a case for Zinchenko. Zinchenko is on the field right now, and Jesus, I believe, is doing everything possible to get himself fit. I think.
Almost too much.
Yeah, I think Arteta's been saying that. I don't know if you heard the quotes that I put out, Stan. Zinchenko, we don't look far away now. We go step by step. He's inspiring the players around him.
Here's my favorite Zinchenko thing so far. That he was having an interview, right, and he was saying that when he came to the club and he was talking with the players and all that, do you know what I mean, and about what their aspirations are and that, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were like, they were looking at They were saying that their aim is to get into third, and he was like, "No,
No,
we
yeah,
we want to win this, right?" And he said that some of the players I kind of laughed at him. He goes, "Now they're dreaming. They're not laughing
yeah,
now."
yeah.
That's the mentality that he has brought in. Third, no, no, we win this shit, man. We're going to win it. And I would
Yeah,
imagine
you're
that
just
Gabriel Jesus is probably there backing that kind of chat up. So that's what we've got from Man City. Because how many leagues have they won now? Jesus and Zinchenko at
well,
City.
Zinchenko's won 4, right? Maybe Jesus has won the same
I
amount.
think he's won 4 as well.
Yeah,
Well, there you
Yeah.
go then, right? They've both won 4 Premier Leagues. They know the deal. They know what it takes. They know what goes on. They know when it's time to do this, when it's time to do that. And that's what we're getting because nobody else knows that.
yeah.
Now, Mikel does. Mikel's been a part of it, but the players that we have, they don't know. So Zinchenko and Jesus, they're here to take us to the promised land, the land of milk and honey.
And to continue that interview, as I said before, he said in the interview, every player in the Premier League has skill, every player in the Premier League has pace, and they know how to play. The difference is you need to get out in front of your opponent and extract that extra 2, 3, 4% that's going to win you a game in the 90th minute. You know what I mean? And I saw the touchline cam and I was just watching Ten Hag and the disappointment on his face. Just got a kick out of that. But Zinchenko is one of the first to. He's almost replaced Cedric in terms of being the main cheerleader, celebrating the goal. When a player scores a goal, he's the first one that you see celebrating, and it's infectious.
And with this just super big shit-eating grin that he looks so happy.
Yeah, but it's the feel good, it's the confidence that he's transmitting to the team, and Bukayo Saka believes in it. Bukayo Saka is a main part of what we're doing this season as
I think
well.
that helps the players because they're playing with more loose, playing with the happiness because they're getting along good, getting the support from the new guys, and it just builds a better atmosphere for the players in the dressing room and on the pitch.
The other thing I think, since that Man United game at Old Trafford, we lost the game because we tried to be progressive, and that's not a criticism. I think it's a good thing. I think that Arteta has always wanted to win the games, right? Because 3 points is much better than one win is much better than 3 draws. Because those are the 2 games to get points in. So you can't win this league by getting draws. You have to get wins. And I think Arteta set the team up to be progressive. Now, we were a bit naive at Old Trafford, and we got caught a couple of times. But I think Zinchenko has been key to us being progressive. And he's not playing the ball backwards from the left-back position. I think he's looking for that pass in the midfield.
Well, he was really not playing as a left back to begin with because when we got the ball, we're only playing with.
But we always did
defenders.
that though, right? We always went to 3 at the back when we.
No,
when we
we're
were
going to
on the
2 though.
offensive.
They're 2 now, not 3.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, because we got Benjamin, right? Is that what we were talking about? Benjamin on that side?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I
Benji.
mean, when we had Tierney and Tomiyasu, we definitely weren't going 2 at the back, right? So
We're going 3, but now it's back 2.
Any other thoughts on the Man United game before we get into the City game? It's a very Mancunian podcast today. Man United
I was just glad to see the rival back.
rivalry.
Would have been nice to beat them more than we did, but close game.
Is that the rivalry you'd want back, or would you want that rivalry with Liverpool?
I don't care about Liverpool. They're done for now.
Okay.
They're done, right?
Yeah, that Manchester United rivalry is synonymous with Arsene Wenger. But
they're back to being 5th or 6th or 7th or 8th.
Wow, you're giving them a wide band there.
Bye.
If they finish 8th place, you're going to be like, okay, it's all right.
Best they're gonna get is the Conference League, right?
Yeah. Gary, any other thoughts on United?
No,
We
not.
took 6 points when they took one in the last two games. You know, and I think the efficiencies in their squad are showing up a little bit. They have spent a lot of money on players, and they're not happy. They're not able to go out and get another player because of probably financial fair play restrictions. You know,
Yeah.
they got to
But
Uh,
wait
but
right
they've been
first.
so much better. Sorry to interrupt you, Ray. But they've been so much better without Ronaldo.
Yeah, they are. Listen, it's tried and trusted. You get a disruptive influence, even if it's a superstar. You get them out of your dressing room, get good, hardworking players, and you're going to get some success.
We seen what
Um,
happened with it last season.
Brilliant to get 6 points from these two games, Tottenham United, and we've had a good month so far. We've got
no,
a
we got
draw
we got.
against
I mean, think about it, we got
Newcastle.
7 points against in the last
Three
three.
very good opponents.
Yeah, and if you went into, I don't know if we ever did this, but going into these three matches, I don't know if everybody said if we got seven that would be fine, but
Mhm.
or four would have been fine. I think four would have been fine, but to come out with seven is really good. So
Don Juan said
yeah,
Arsenal versus United is iconic, but Arsenal versus City might be the future. Yeah. All right, so let's flip to the game tomorrow. And so I was a little bit conflicted about this earlier, but I'm actually thinking we need to go with a pretty strong team to the Etihad tomorrow. Um, maybe not even set a marker down because we just need to win the game for our own season, right? We just need to go there, put a performance in, hopefully win the game. And if we win the game, we're in the last 16, and we got four more games to win the whole competition.
But then when do players, like Teabag and Trossard, you know,
I don't know.
Marquinhos, players need
well,
minutes. We can't just
what
have players that we won't play and just run everybody else ragged. I know that there's a gap between this game. What is the gap between this game and the next league game?
it's
8 days.
Friday and then Saturday is the next match.
8 days, yeah.
I would like personally to see somebody like a Matt Turner in goal. I'd like to
Well,
see
I think
maybe
that's going to happen.
a Tommy Asu at right back,
Hmm.
a Tierney at left back. But having a Tommy Asu
I
at
don't
right
think
back
you're
and
going to see that too much.
this
Okay,
isn't a
let's
big
go
this isn't
through.
a big drop off, is it? The names that I name, it's not a big drop off. But some players need to have minutes. Rob Holding may need some minutes.
Yeah, no, I've looked at a lot of people have talked about this, and Trossard coming in as one.
Yeah.
Um, the midfield is I guess the three players in the midfield are behind our front four. That's an issue. Who do we pull out?
Mhm.
Xhaka or Partey or even
So
Erdogan? Do we pull out and who do we replace them with?
let's put some names on the sheet, Gary, that we feel
Yeah.
will play that we can all maybe agree on.
I think Matt
Turner,
Turner, Holding, and
Turner's going to play.
Trossard.
Turner's going to play. Holding?
Yeah,
Do we all think Holding should play? Okay.
I think
Um,
Gabriel has played in every match.
yeah.
I don't think
We
he's taken a
need.
break. I think he's always played,
Okay.
and he's always played
Gabriel.
with Holding.
Tommy Asu, right back.
But one time he had a break, it was horrible.
Yep. Tommy Asu, right back. We all maybe agree on that. Tommy.
Yeah, I think Tomiyasu. Yeah,
He finished the last game, so I think Zinchenko should continue though.
Or even at centre back, if somebody else can play at right back, he's versatile, right?
Yeah.
But he needs
Yep.
minutes.
Okay. Zinchenko or Kieran Tierney?
Tierney,
Tierney.
Zinchenko's not long back off of an injury as well. He's been playing. He could probably do with, a little bit of a rest. Tierney needs minutes as well. Kivior, he's a left centre back.
Tierney might not be a bad thing, especially if Mahrez is going to play on the right side. Mahrez has been dangerous.
What about Kivior?
Trossard,
Hang on, in the defence, the new guy, Kivior, should he not get a game? We've got
no,
Kivior
no.
now.
I think
He's
this
a
is
tiger.
Why? Why? He's not a young player.
he's
He's not.
not
Probably
he's
too
not a
early for
Trossard
him.
who's going to come in and play for you within the first week. For me,
No.
Why?
We don't know anything about him.
He plays for his national team for Poland in the World Cup. He's been playing in Spain against good opposition regularly.
I wouldn't throw him in this
You know?
game, Stan. I wouldn't throw him in this game.
Could he not be one of the 5 substitutes?
Yeah, he can.
No. I think he should get minutes,
wait.
but I don't think he needs to. I don't think he starts. That's all.
If you look at
Why?
the rest,
I don't get this. Gabriel Magalhaes came in.
That's why Trossard is the type of player that we want. We don't have to think about, well, should we bring him in this match?
Yeah,
We
look,
don't.
too early.
We started him
Too
as soon as
early.
he was
But
ready to
Explain
play.
to me what that. Okay, when you say too early for him, what does that mean? He's been in the club already. He's been training. He was sat in the stands, watched a game from a seat. He plays professional football in the Serie A. He's an international football. When you say it's too early for him, in what sense? Is he coming back from an injury?
He doesn't know.
Is he jet lagged?
Yeah,
I
think it's a big challenge.
He's a fucking
for him to come in.
defender. He's a defender. He knows how to defend.
You still need
always-
to know your teammates.
Okay, explain to me what you mean by too early. Then I'm listening.
You still need to know your teammates. You can't know the patterns of the players around
He's been
you.
training with them. He watched a game from the stands. I don't understand. What has he got going
doesn't
for
know the
meals with
system.
them? Has he got to go around there for dinner with another
This is
centre back?
City. Stan, this is Manchester City.
It's an FA Cup game.
Cool
We
your
bought-
jets a little bit.
Their
We
second.
need to rest players for the league,
their
right? We're
second-
fighting for
their
the
second
league. Why
team is as
do you
good
want
as
to
most
run
teams'
Gabriel
third.
Magalhaes into the ground?
You
He's
want
done a
to-
lot of
Why are you
minutes.
fighting
No, that's
like
what-
Kivior?
Yeah.
Stan,
Don't fight for Kivior. He'll be okay, Stan. There's
Stan.
Europa League games.
He
can
doesn't
play.
know the system, but he's a defender. He's a left central defender.
And it's
Do you know
part
what I'm
of the
getting
system.
at?
We
I
progress the
hear you.
ball.
That's
70%
why.
progress
That's
the ball.
why.
I
For me,
totally
don't call
agree
it-
with you, Stan, but that's
Yeah.
not what we're going to see.
All right.
Yeah,
It's
no,
a
if
2-2.
that's the case, that he should be able to come in and play right
Did-
away. Then
okay,
he's the wrong
Mudryk
player.
Mudryk came from the Ukraine after only playing 40 games in that
But he's
country,
a winger.
and he came off the bench.
They
He's a
have
winger.
nobody. Who do they have? You're acting like we don't
They
have
didn't.
people that
They,
can play.
they didn't leave him and say no, it's too soon.
because they
didn't
needed
say
him.
it's
They
too soon.
had
But he
Felix
came-
coming
but
and
then-
he's
but
gone.
then why didn't he start
They
then?
just
He
re-
came off the bench. They've got plenty.
All right.
No, I'm not
Stan.
buying it. I'm not buying
you're
it.
No,
These
no,
are
he
Stan,
can
football-
play, but
These are
he's not
football
starting.
players.
He's not starting.
He's not
is
learning
what
a
I'm
new
saying.
language. These are football players, man. He's
Can I
not
give
learning
you
a new
stat,
sport.
Stan?
Stan.
Megalegs came
Stan,
from
you're
another
fighting-
league.
you're
Megalegs
fighting
came
hard
from
for
another
the-
league, man.
You're
Can I
fighting
give
And
you
why
a
did he
stat
start?
about
He
Megalegs?
started because of an injury. This is not the same situation.
And he done very well. And to me, it just showed me it was
Well,
like,
then we
there
need-
you go.
Well,
He
not-
can
I don't
play
want
football.
I don't want anybody getting injured, so Kiwior can
And-
play. All right.
not against Manchester City at the Etihad. No, sorry, I'm not buying it. Get to
Stan.
the next round. We're gonna
I hear what
play.
you're saying, but we never do that. We're not
we're
going to
gonna
do
play
that.
a
You know
weaker
that.
team. If we get into the next round, we're gonna play a weaker team. City won't be there. Chelsea won't be there. A few other teams
Can I
won't
give
be there.
Stan a stat
Tony.
now?
Tony,
I've been wanting to comment on this part. You haven't came to me yet.
I'm here. I'm at your doorstep, Tony.
Speaking about what Stan's talking about, Megalegs, he's played 2,203 minutes already.
Yes.
That's 19 games into a season.
That's why Holding and Saliba should start.
Did you see what happened the last time they played together?
Oh, listen. This
They have to play at some point.
Mikel Arteta.
Why?
Or
will-
rather,
gotta
they
do-
play than
We got a new
Kiwior.
player.
Mikel will pick the team that he believes will win the game.
Surely he can come off the bench if we're doing well to give him
No,
some minutes.
Kiwior.
I mean,
I think
Tavares
he gets
did.
minutes. I just don't think he'll start.
Do
'Cause
you
we're
know what's
talking
that
about
happened?
starters.
Yeah, I'm not saying necessarily that he has to start, but I mean, he should have an opportunity to you know.
They'll
If
be
we're doing
playing
okay.
against. They'll
Do you
be
know what
playing-
I'm willing to bet $50 to each one of you?
Go ahead.
10 of the starters are to play. No
I
matter
think
what.
there needs to be at least three of them
A
out.
lot of starters.
Like
here's the
Ramsdale
thing.
doesn't need to start.
Misfits like start the under 23.
Trossard.
Everybody except for
Put the fucking
Ramsdale
girls
will
on.
play.
Fuck it.
That's Leeds.
Yeah.
Everybody
Leeds,
except
yeah.
for
Trossard
Ramsdale
showed me
is-
enough, and I
play.
think we all agree that he should start. Turner has been decent, all right?
Turner's
we need to give
the only one.
we need to give Margulis a break.
Kivior didn't speak English in his first interview. I'm wondering how his English is, if he can speak it. Stan, centre backs or partnerships is too early. Less than
I
a
wonder
week
what
in
language he
training.
speaks. Do you think he speaks Italian or just Polish?
You can't throw him to the wolves. in this first game.
Because Mikel speaks loads of languages, isn't he?
Yeah. Throw him on the road against Haaland is a way to ruin confidence of a young, inexperienced player. True.
They might not play Haaland.
Well, we don't know that, so we
probably
can't
will.
trust it, right? He's not starting. He'll get minutes, but he won't start.
This is why.
It's kind of how I feel it
Do
should
you
go.
remember, Stan, when you said Eddie needed to come in with 10 other first teamers? We need.
No, I never said that. You guys
You
said
said
that.
that earlier in the season.
Everybody said that because
I
everybody
never
was
said
saying.
that. I said
I
he's coming.
believe-
I said this is what you all said. Well, he needs to start. He's only been playing in the Europa League with the second teamers, and they're not as good. And I said no. I said, well, he's been coming off the bench and he's been playing with the first team. He trains with the first team every day. He's not a stranger to the first team. That's what I said.
No,
So
I don't
Play it
believe
back.
so. I
Play
don't
it back.
believe so.
Find it. It's there. It's on
I don't-
record. That's
You
exactly
said-
what I said.
believe
And I'm not even paraphrasing. That
No,
is
because
almost
that
word
was
for word
my
what I
point.
said.
Was he was playing?
You were
he was
all
coming in-
saying what Ray said. I said.
No,
I said that.
never said that.
I
said he needs to be the best
Hold on.
player in the Europa League when he played, not be, well, you know what? Because I'm not playing with the starters, I can't play well.
Yeah, but
Prosper.
Ray said that. I said that Eddie needs to play with the first, the first team, and he will do better. And I turned around and I said, but he has been playing with the first team. He trains with them all of the time. He's not a stranger. He doesn't train on his own, and
When
he
he
comes
was
off the
coming
bench
on,
and
he
plays with the
was with
first
them all.
team. That's what I said.
Okay.
I don't believe. I
You
think
just
I was
don't
the only
believe
one.
me.
Fair enough.
I can't help you then. I mean, it's on record.
I'll have to check the tape on that.
And I remember when I said it, you kind of went silent and you went, "Oh, don't put words in my mouth." I remember saying that.
Yeah, it's
Dan
cool.
said it
It's all good.
multiple times.
Thank you, Tony.
Looks like you'll be walking through the midfield in Goodison in 2 weeks.
These
Looks
nuts.
like you'll be walking through the midfield. We will not be walking through the midfield in Goodison in 2 weeks because they will probably have another manager and they will give us a tough game in 2 weeks. But I do think having 8 days rest means we could put a strong side out. You know,
We've put a strong side out every time in these cups.
Yeah.
There's been 10 starters. That's why I'm willing to bet. You'll see 10
So we
starters.
we started with a strong side, and then we, if we're doing well, we can take people off, or we start with a slightly weaker side, and if we're struggling, we have to throw in people. But the luxury that we have is that there's a week or so before the next game, so we're not. It's like it's in 3 days' time.
We tried to do it the other way around, Stan. We tried to do it against Oxford. We went weak. They couldn't do it, and we had to bring starters in.
Done it a couple of times, didn't we?
Yeah.
Done it a couple of times.
So, Gary, maybe we have to do the same thing tomorrow. It's got to be a strong team, do the job, as Stan said, and make changes. And these players need to get 20, 25 minutes. You're right. We need to get some minutes into legs like, Fabio Vieira, maybe Emil Smith-Rowe, who we're kind of worried about him at this point in time because
Emil Smith-Rowe, he's back.
Trossard's come in.
Vieira, you like to see it for a whole half. Smith-Rowe, you like to see for a whole half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't think Smith-Rowe made the trip, so I don't think he'll play at all.
Okay.
But,
he didn't make the trip.
I don't think they said they were talking about players coming off the bus or whatever. He wasn't one of the players coming off the bus.
I think it's such an important game that you need Eddie probably to still play through the middle. I would have been tempted with Trossard through the middle, but I think
Eddie has to stay through the middle. He's got plenty of recovery time for the next game. Yeah. He's in form. We've got to play Eddie.
Yeah.
Got to play Eddie.
Gary, rest Martinelli, probably.
I think Trossard deserves to play. I think that's why you got him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Martinelli on the bench, no problem.
Yeah. Martinelli has a lot of minutes in his legs, Tony. So
I don't even think that. I think it's more you have Trossard for this. What I saw, once again, in those 15, 20 minutes, let the man play. You know what I mean? That's what you got him for. Trossard is, and he's in a similar form to what our players are up top.
Yeah.
Let him play, and he plays big against the big teams.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Here we go again. Don Moore said it's typical. Everton will get a new manager badge. We'll talk about Everton next week, but I don't want to have another bad result up at Goodison Park. It hasn't been a happy hunting ground for us.
I've heard that, and
Last
Mr.
few-
Tom probably heard this as well. His ex-manager Bielsa
Yeah,
has flown in, probably with his translator in tow to have a chat.
but
Yeah,
did he say
he's been
no?
mentioned a lot of times.
I think a lot of managers
Well,
say no.
You don't fly in to say no, do you? You don't fly all the way over to go, I'm not interested. You can do that on a blower.
See, the
Yeah.
USA should be trying to get Bielsa.
That is a
They're
fair
gonna need
point.
a manager soon.
Okay.
And I get the feeling Bielsa doesn't like to physically move around if he doesn't have to. If he weren't interested, he weren't going to fucking pick his ass up, get on a plane, fly. I mean, can't smoke on the plane, right? Can't smoke. He wouldn't do none of that if he didn't have to fight, if he weren't interested.
Well, Jack Duckworth will be getting back into Everton side. You know,
Right, Vera.
yeah. Good old
Right there,
Jack
Vera.
Duckworth. Vera. All right there, Vera.
Right, Vera.
Okay, here's the big question, Gary. Partey. What do we do with Thomas Partey? Does he play or not?
Do I want to see Sambi out there? No. Against City?
Yeah.
No. Like for me, it doesn't make any sense, right? Because
Got
we should be
recovery
trying to
time.
get the league, but I'd rather him sit against Everton than sit against in this match.
They're both
'Cause-
going to play.
He's had plenty of recovery time. It's not like the last game was 3 days ago or the next game
Yeah.
is in 3 days'
Yeah.
time. So we can afford it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, if we're talking about wear and tear and stuff like that, then that is one of the main reasons why we needed a backup for Partey start of the season. Because I never thought that Sambi would ever get there.
Yeah.
And he hasn't got there. And now the only reason why we're keeping him is just as a body. We're not even keeping him because we can use him. We keep him for
Are you
a
saying,
body.
hang on, is Don one saying don't play Partey?
Don't play him. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
which is
No,
fair.
But
it's-
why? It's not like he's had recovery time and he's got time. Why? Why?
Here,
Are you that
here's-
worried? Are you that worried about an injury? That really?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he hasn't.
I
He
did a
hasn't
poll
played that many.
earlier.
He hasn't played that many
60%.
minutes compared to everybody else.
60% said don't play him in the poll I put out earlier. 60%.
1,400 minutes he's played.
Well, if
I
I'd
just-
voted, it would have been 59%. So
No, I just find. I mean, who
I miss
are
that.
we putting in that midfield?
Colo,
They'll both play.
No, but who are we putting in
Yeah,
that midfield
Xhaka.
if we're not playing Partey? Who are we
Xhaka.
bringing in?
yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? There's no one any.
we're
And
talking
we
about-
haven't really seen Zinchenko or
We're talking
anybody
about
playing
maybe.
playing that midfield area
Well,
there,
we're,
right?
we're looking at Lokonga and we're looking at Grand Xhaka, maybe a double pivot.
See, no, stop, no, you're it hurts me just to even say it. No,
Risky, innit?
It's-
Conga,
no.
risky.
you cannot.
It's going to
risky.
be
All you
Partey.
do is you just weaken.
Can I
weaken the
remind?
middle of the
Can
pitch.
I remind us of something?
Very risky.
I see you.
Our newest signing,
Trossard.
or not? He's played left midfield more than any.
He's
position
not
this
playing
season.
in this game to start. We just went over this. Doesn't matter where you play him. He's not playing against City, even if it's their second squad.
Trossard.
Where's your fucking crystal ball?
Tony, your language, for God's sake.
He's talking
No,
about
no, but think about it. We're not gonna play him in this game. One, he's young, right? Two, it is City.
Fucking
It's
hell,
one of
Tony,
the best
your
teams in the
language.
world, right? You're just not gonna play him.
Locked up in
Why?
this house too.
Gary's mom has gone to bed already.
Yeah, no,
He's
she's
not
asleep.
listening
No,
anymore.
she's asleep. You didn't have to
Fuck for
change for
that.
her. You didn't have to change for her.
Let it
But it was nice that you tried. I appreciate that.
I was hoping
Shit,
to
I
have
just
a
remembered. I'm still swearing. I remembered I was sending these to my mum afterwards. I'm like, oh, fuck.
I was hoping to have a front three of Trossard on the right, Eddie in the middle, and Emil Smith Rowe.
Yeah, Emil Smith Rowe would have been nice to have. I don't think that's gonna.
Ray Anderson's asking if I'm drunk. I don't know. What did I say to make you think that?
Lukonga's at a stage where now
Lokonga, yeah.
the only way you can field him is like, it's at the 80th minute and you're 2-0 up, 3-0 up. You know that you're, and you think, okay, I can throw him in now and, give him some minutes. That's where he is. But a player like Teabag, he needs more than that.
Yep.
He's more of a player. He's got more to offer, and he needs more minutes, whether it's a half, whether you start him, but he needs Lokonga.
You have to.
Lokonga's too risky. And we ain't got time for risks.
Yeah.
Teabag, you almost have to throw in for Saka, don't you? Really, Stan?
Yeah. You could throw him in for Saka. You could throw him in for. You could throw him in for Odegaard.
I feel like we're going to go with a strong side for 60, 65 minutes, and then substitutes will come in. And that means Saka plays about 60 minutes, which will be enough maybe to keep the player ticking over, keep all of the players ticking over.
It's good to say. I kind of feel like Arteta gets in his way. He's like disciplined about certain things, but not pulling his players out.
Well,
right?
he has said
he's been substituting
players,
great, but
He hasn't. No, he's been forced to. He's been forced to sub, but he's not subbing.
He's
Early,
subbing
like
great in the cups. He's been doing it perfectly. He's been doing it perfectly in the cups.
Top players.
I mean, he's not pulling starters out though. He's not pulling his starters out. You're talking about bringing in his starters because
he didn't just pull out a player last weekend. Monday,
because he had a yellow. He was on a yellow, and he was playing poorly that first 45 minutes.
Did he pull him?
That's why he pulled him. If he didn't have a yellow, I don't know if he would have pulled him.
Arteta did say top players play every week. Bukayo Saka is a top player, so I think he's going to play every week, and they need to play every week. You know, Ronaldo in his prime played every week.
That many minutes, though? I don't think he was playing that many minutes.
Ronaldo?
He's had a week's recovery, Tony. It's not like, you know.
I know, but it still adds up.
And when he finishes this game, he'll have another week's recovery. So, you know, surely he can do that. He's not injured.
A lot of minutes on those young lads.
Here's a good point here. And I was thinking about this earlier, Stan. Don Juan said this match has no bearing on the league. I believe that. Because we lost to PSV 2-0 in the Europa League. We came back in the league and beat Nottingham Forest 5-0. We lost to Man United in the league. We came back against Brentford and beat them 3-0. I think this would. Do you think there's a psychological blow to be had here by either Pep or Mikel?
No.
Anyone?
I don't think they play those types of games. Right? I don't think they play those types of games. They have a plan and they stick with it no matter what.
And I think our mentality, Gary, is such that we're able to overcome that stuff. We don't let. Stan said last season we collated 3 losses together. We would have clumps of bad defeats together. We just don't see that this season, Gary.
Yeah. I mean, we don't even have bad 3-minute segments of games now. If you think about it, we basically usually have an answer pretty quickly for anything that comes up. So once again, it's a totally different team, different mentality.
Could you imagine the feeling, the pressure, the electricity, I don't know how to explain the word I'm looking for, but what I'm saying is we've only had 1 loss this season in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine if we'd drawn that game or won it?
Mm-hmm.
We'd be in the midst of an invincible run with stats that would have been better than the original one. I mean, it's just pretty incredible, man, of where we are halfway through the league, and when I say we've only lost 1 game, it's not like but you've fucking drawn 7.
Yeah, and
so don't try and patch. We've it's not been like that, man. Was it? What's the draws? 1,
2.
Okay, 2 draws. 1. I mean, this is pretty eye-opening for me. It's good shit.
And that's another reason why I feel like you don't want to change the flow that you're in, right? Just because of what you just said there. We're in a flow. This is continue. We're just going to play it out, and that's why January window was important to me, is because we wouldn't have to change, right? We're talking about resting people because they might get injured. They might get injured walking to the bathroom when you rest them, right?
Or boarding a flight.
Right. So you never know. So for me, just continue to play the way you are. You need numbers, right? So go get those
Gary
numbers.
ignored your joke.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. I was too busy chatting.
I said athletes can get injured boarding a flight.
For sure. For sure. Yeah. No,
I,
but that's why I don't like all of a sudden like changing things up because all right, it doesn't really matter. Well, no, they all matter because mentally and psychologically it changes you a little bit, right?
yeah,
When you
yeah,
come out there and it's like and the coach and players can tell when the coach is like, I'm not feeling this one at all, right?
yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm going to have to turn it back on the next week. I don't like that. I want to just keep going the way we're going and try to win everything that we play and go that route. Especially, you just said it. We have 8 days. This is going to be probably the longest amount of time between games for the rest of the season.
We can play. The players can play. Stan had a little smile on his face there.
Mhm.
He's got
Oh,
something
no, I'm good.
in his mind.
Just the
Okay.
chat box was amusing me.
If Partey gets injured, we all know the consequence and the meltdown that comes
I
out.
got
You're right.
amusing after the crystal ball.
We don't know when that's going to happen, so why
It can
bother?
happen.
We know that's the biggest risk.
Because we
It's
don't have a
always been the
crystal ball,
biggest risk.
Gary.
Huh?
So we don't have a crystal ball.
No.
We don't.
No.
Yeah,
No.
I think it's an important marker between first and second. So Mr. Tom thinks it has psychological.
We're third place is what 11 points behind us right now. Third.
United.
I
That's
never played that game. Is it is a side
Grand
mission
Theft Auto. Tony
that
looking
like
at
to
Francis.
take somebody's head off or something like that?
He's got the Alfie shirt on again.
Isn't he the guy in the car that the getaway driver?
Yeah, it's like, you always get like the guy phoning you up in the game, giving you a side mission like Ron. Hi, this is Ron. Where have you been? You got to come and see. Tony's like a side character, man, on GTA. As BX said, you get like a big T on the map, an icon, so you don't have to go there to get the mission.
And then he was injured in training. The keeper in the World Cup was injured when warming up for the
That
match.
tickles me.
Yeah, I don't think you can try to cotton wool these players as much as we want to do.
Tony's
that,
Vice
right?
City for sure. Tony's in Vice City, not Liberty City. Tony's in Vice City for sure. Look at that shirt. That's a Vice City shirt, isn't it?
Arsenal team will be very different in the league match. We are very confident with our first 11. If Arteta and medical staff deems it fit to start anyone, then who are we to bash? Exactly. Bash or criticize them.
I still need to go play Grand Theft Auto.
We're just trying to. This is going to be a hard one to anticipate. We know now in every league game when everyone's fit, we pretty much know our starting 11. The cups are going to be a little bit different. Don won 16 wins.
Well, here you go. Don't you think with Trossard, we've got another one of these players? Like he's closer to our wings than Tomiyasu and Tierney are to the fullbacks that we have, right, in our starting lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, the drop off isn't that significant.
Is it too early for Trossard though? Is it too early?
Stop it!
It might be too early though. Do you know what I mean?
Stop it! Nobody knows. Stop it!
Maybe he should sit in the stands and watch this
You
one.
Can't compare. You can't compare Kawar to Trossard.
But he has to get to know his teammates, doesn't he?
Stop it! Stop it!
Zinchenko brought him into the dressing room to introduce him, Stan. So maybe it's not too early.
Yeah.
If Zinchenko introduced him to everyone.
Listen, when your first day at work, he's standing on a chair in front of your colleagues and singing a fucking song, they know you. Yeah. They know you. And that's what you got to do when you go there, right?
I don't know. What song would you pick if you were signed by Arteta?
That's a good one. What team would you pick if that was... Because that's what they do, right? I don't know. I don't know why, but I just see Tony going, now I had the time of my life. And I just see him singing
Every time I hear that song, I think of a bubblegum commercial. So I would not pick that song.
I don't know what my song. I kind of think about that. What would my song be? Right, you got to stand on a chair or a box in front of these people and sing a song. I would make it something really elaborate, probably something like Bohemian Rhapsody. I went on holiday. I'll tell you a story, right? I went on holiday once to Jamaica.
Can you pause for a second?
I went on holiday, right, to Jamaica. It's all inclusive resort, right, with an ex-bird. And after dinner one night, we went and had some drinks. And in the bar, this poor guy had a karaoke thing set up and was trying to get everyone to, come on. And he was doing a few, but no one was going up. And I started looking through the magazine, the book, all the songs. And And I thought, fuck it, no one knows me here, so I can embarrass myself. No one knows me here. So I went up and I'd done Bohemian Rhapsody, and I'd done all parts, like all of the parts. Like I'd be jumping around, like going Galileo, Galileo, and I'd done the whole thing. No, the whole thing, and everybody got up after that. So I'd probably do that because that would endear you to your team, jumping around like an absolute nutter, trying to do Bohemian Rhapsody and doing all of the parts in that. I mean, how could you not love that guy? That's what I would do.
Exactly, yeah. If I were Arteta, I would not tip my hand to City for a domestic cup with so much on the line. I would keep as many starters out of the lineup as possible. Beat them?
Our game plan to beat anybody is the same. It's not going to change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know what? We have answers for everything.
Our plan B is plan A.
I don't know why, but I see Gary doing a Public Enemy song.
I could do that.
Like
my Uzi weighs a ton.
The power.
Our plan B is
like, I don't know why.
I was just listening. You know,
you're looking very Chuck D this evening.
Yeah. And I was listening to what was it? Gasoline Dreams from what you call it came on today. What's that group from Atlanta? The duo from Atlanta. What's it called? Oh my God! Hey, what's that group from Atlanta? Come on, you guys, an Outcast.
Oh, okay. Outcast. I didn't know they were from Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
There are some misfits. City might not play their starting 11 either, so both teams have to watch past videos. Yeah. Listen, I think we put our best side out, and we beat them. That's the best way to do this. Get to the last 16. We're going to play undoubtedly an easier team if we get through this one. Tony.
Can we ask Tom what songs I would sing? Because he has some inside information here.
I knew Tony would re-say the comment I found funny. Is Tony a voice or a Liberty City type character San Andreas?
Come on, Tom.
Tony is 100% Vice City in that shirt.
I see Tony singing a Johnny Cash song. You know, something, you know.
It would be something.
A boy named Sue.
Bradley Cooper-ish in that movie.
I haven't did that one yet.
Is it Kenny Rogers?
Or Kenny Rogers, yeah.
You got to know when to hold him.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. I see Tony coming out of like a country kind of a style. You know what I mean? And not only would Tony be on a chair, well, he couldn't be stood on a chair, right? He'd have to be sat in his wheelchair, but he'd have a guitar. He'd bring a guitar out and do the whole fucking thing.
Candle in the Wind by Elton John, Tony. Something depressing. Everyone's sad.
Goodbye, Norma Jean. I don't see it.
Can I let you do it on the inside thing?
Tony could do Elton John. He'd probably do I'm Still Standing.
Well, I have done Phil Collins.
Oh, he's gonna do what you call it?
No.
Jump from what you call it?
In the air tonight.
What, crisscross? Jump.
I've done it. Tom and Sam have heard it. We have a WhatsApp group, and when I do my,
I see Tony do Meatloaf as well. Yeah, it's a good show. Meatloaf.
That's good sound.
Check out of hell.
I might be doing these for Sam and Tom. I've already done probably 40, 50 songs.
Meatloaf. That's the one.
Do you want to?
Yeah, that would be a good one for Tony.
50 songs.
Are we getting the karaoke machine at the ranch then, Tony? So we're doing.
I do.
Tony, when I come out to visit you, we're gonna hire out a karaoke, and we'll do it on air. I'm game. Yeah. Me and you would duet like "Bat Out of Hell" and "I would do anything for love."
I don't know what Johnny Cash song I would do though.
Oh my God. Okay.
I would almost do a Boy Called Sue, I think.
We will wrap this up in a few minutes, but I think everyone's having a little bit of fun. We can freestyle a little bit.
Would you do that with me, Stan?
Huh?
A Boy Called Sue?
Yeah, or the one that was it. My mum always told me never carry gun. I shot a guy in Reno just to see him die, or something like that. I can see you doing Johnny Cash. You know what I mean? But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die.
In a burning ring of fire.
Or Hurt. I love the version of Hurt he did. Did you like the version of Hurt he did?
That Ring of Fire.
Did you say with a quote that Zinchenko said to Kiwior?
Yeah, come into
What?
if you're with us, you're with us.
I
Yeah,
didn't see. No,
if
didn't know
you're
that.
already with us, you're already with
already
us.
with
So
us.
basically, why are
Come
you
into the
sitting
press.
outside the locker room after a match? You get in here. So
Come
I'm
into the
literally,
press.
lad. Literally, I've got tears in my eyes this evening. Good one. Literally, you made me cry with laughter, the guys. Seriously.
Rocket Man.
Rocket Man.
Tom already knows what songs I've done, so
Oh, okay. Tom knows a lot about you.
Tom and Sam have a lot of inside information here.
oh.
You don't seem worried. Is it playing
Oh,
out?
I got
Right.
one for Tony.
Oh, my sides are
ZZ
hurting.
Top.
We're on the
ZZ Top
downward.
legs.
The landing gear is coming out pretty soon,
Oh.
Ray Anderson. Is it playing out of fuel?
We've done Paradise
Oh,
City,
oh.
Guns N' Roses.
All right, so I remember last week I was trying to be serious and I couldn't keep it
It's always
down.
good to end on a high.
It is always good to end on a high. I think Arsenal have played really well this season. I think we've had some things going well for us, and injuries notwithstanding, there's the hat trick.
And
We've
happy accidents notwithstanding as well.
'Cause I'm a rocket man.
The William Shatner version, Mr. Tom, is the best version. It is, because I'm a rocket man. Rocket man. He speaks it. It's brilliant. It's Kirk.
Empty roads. Empty home.
Anyway,
Ray, do you remember singing that?
All right. Have we come to the natural end of things here?
Come on,
Maybe.
Ray.
yeah, I got to go.
Let's talk about your Johnny Crockett song, Davy Crockett.
Like Johnny.
Oh, I got a bit
Davy
before
Crockett.
I go. A little bit of self promotion, if I may.
Yes.
I've opened a little online shop on Etsy. So if you go to Etsy and you type in the Gooner Shack and go to the shop, it's Arsenal related stuff. There's going to be some other stuff. It's an experiment. Even if you don't buy anything, at least give it a follow or whatever to help me get up the rankings. But there are a couple of good pieces on there. I'm doing like mugs, travel mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, caps, and there's going to be stuff added on a frequent basis. So if you've got a brother or a sister or a dad or someone and you want to buy, or even for yourself, and if I want to buy a little present for a birthday, you might like one of the mugs. And feel free to message me if you've got any ideas for any other designs. Let me know. I'm open. So give it a look, and just give it a like. Basically, do you know what I mean?
I will drop the link as well in the description on the show as well.
And also tomorrow, I will be on the Bergkamp Wonderland doing a pre-show game with Danny and Deke for the game tomorrow. And I will also be, I think, doing a post-game show afterwards. So if you're around and about before the game or after the game, come over to a Bergkamp Wonderland with myself, Danny, and Deke.
Okay, cool. Very good. Tony done one man in the match. I'm going to go with Zinchenko. Maybe Eddie. Eddie's got to get it. Gary, what were your thoughts on? I know it's a few days ago now.
Yeah, no, I mean everybody talked about Zinchenko. I guess one of the things I didn't notice him as much. I know he was instrumental to how we played, but no, I think it's hard to take away. And Kedia did right in terms of getting the first draw, and then finishing up the game the way he did, and always being in the box and being a threat there. So yeah, I mean I think coming into the match, many people were basically saying, Kedia for a hat trick, right? Like jokingly.
Yeah.
And he was close. He was close to a hat trick. So
yeah.
I think it's easier to say Zinchenko because of what he's been doing. So it's one of those things where you can probably give it to him. At some point you could give it to him every game, right? So
I want to win something this season so we can look back on. I'm not one for we played really well and came second or third. We're playing this well. We have to win something. I'm going to go with Zinchenko for man of the match. Stan, who are you going to go for the man of the match?
Oh, what we're doing? Mystic Meg and guessing who we think it's going to be. I'm
No,
going to go.
from the Man United game.
Oh, okay.
From
Sorry.
Monday.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to go with Eddie and Ketia.
Okay, Tony, who's it?
The Ukrainian.
Ukrainian. Okay, Zinchenko. Zinny got it. Okay, thanks, Stan, for joining as always. Gary,
Thank you, mate. I'm going to just thank you. I love being here on a Thursday and on the Sundays. We have a little family that comes into the chat box. But if you can, when you see our posts, if you do give it a retweet and a like and a share, we want to try and bring a little bit more and expand the family here in Arsenal Fan Circle. But I look forward to these Thursday evenings and these Sundays, with a couple of beers, chatting to the guys and all you lot in the chat box. So seriously, I want to thank everybody that keeps coming in here on those 2 days a week. We couldn't do it without you, but even if you weren't here, I'd still do it anyway because I just like chatting. But thank you.
Absolutely. Check out. We're going to leave the link for Etsy at the bottom for Stan's shop. Check that out. Gary, check out Stan as well on Bergkamp Wonderland tomorrow before the game. Gary, you're going live on Saturday?
Yep, Saturday. Probably. I think we've been going around 11 o'clock, so I don't know what matches will be going on, if any, on the weekend. And then on Monday again, probably talking about the Manchester City match. So yeah, check us out. Tomorrow, sometimes I think I'll be on the stoop with Lolo, so that's later on in the evening.
Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah, tomorrow, yeah. Lolo and the guys on the stoop do it's Friday, right? I forgot. Happy hour tomorrow.
Yep,
I might pop in and say hello. But I tell you what I like about that show. It's just not Arsenal centric. It's basically, it's one guy runs it's Arsenal, the other guy is Wolves, and it is very much a Premier League. No, not even Premier League. It's a football channel. Yeah. Mr. Tom's a regular on there, and he does some good betting. He has a little betting corner with some good, really wild out there bets and that. So if you've not checked in to that Lolo on the stoop, the happy hour, which is about 4 o'clock, 4:30, something like that. No, I think it's 4 o'clock my time, PST time. Check it out and give it a look because it's a lot of fun. Very interactive.
Last week, Tom's betting in the dark segment returned big monies to.
Did you bet a bet on that, Gary?
I did.
Which one? Which one did you put a bet on?
I bet the original one that he did, but it had basically it was 3-2 score for Arsenal. Eddie gets the last goal, and it was I think it was Anthony gets a goal as well, or Anthony or Rashford gets a goal. But I bet that one, which didn't come through. But then I took that and I went 3-2. Eddie gets the last goal. Saka gets a goal, and Erdegaard gets an assist.
And what did you put on?
Just $1.
And what did you get back?
Like $4.70.
That's tidy.
And that was the smaller of the bets that others had made. Like one guy I think Mark made like 800 or something like that. So yeah, it was a good day for betting in the dark. Yeah.
Right, you can do $1 for the next 800 or 400 weeks.
True, I can do that. Yeah, I can. But usually there's 3 sets of bets, so it's like you got to cut it in a third into a third. But yeah, it was. Yeah.
And if you like the Kahoot that we do here as well, they also do like a trivia thing sometimes on Fridays, which is good fun. So you should check it out. It's a good show.
Yeah. Tune into the stoop tomorrow. Gary knows about my picks. 7 p.m. Okay.
I haven't done my pick yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it must have been Anthony. No picks. It was Anthony.
Of course, we talk about the Premier League as well. We do upset picks, and Tony's top of that pile right now. He extended his lead by 1 point last weekend.
Stands right up my tail. He's just trying.
Gary and I have got some work to do. We're 20 some back. But,
I just wanted my dollar bet. I'm all right.
Yeah.
I'm all right.
Just like Arsenal, it feels like in this title race, I almost want it to be. It feels like we're in the run-in, but we're only halfway through this league. It's crazy.
That's what's crazy how many points we had, because last
Yeah.
season it was only like 122 or something was a winner.
We're having fun this season. Think of all the other poor rival podcasts who are in the depths of despair. We go there for entertainment once in a while as well. Tony, what have you got? And say goodnight. And let's we got to try and get your campaign going as well and get you up there as well. So we're going to do that, a renewed effort for you to get that powered wheelchair.
I never did hear back from Arsenal, as you guys know that I did write to them,
Yep.
Right.
but I didn't hear nothing back. So.
Yeah.
They're probably not going to do anything for anybody stateside. So.
All right. Take us out of here. Take us out of here, Tony. You're going to land this thing, right?
Yeah. This week I've had 4 doctor's appointments. Monday started with going to the
You're just supposed to say goodnight.
He likes to give us a medical rundown. I mean, it's just
no. I'm not make a point. Let me get there, Gary.
$6 million man.
Start with that. Finally got it confirmed after 17 years of trying to figure it out that I have Crohn's. Then I went and got my eyes injected. That's why I have these on, because there's blood pool in both these eyes. I'm kind of sensitive to the light right now.
Well, like Cyclops, if you take them off like that.
But anyway, I've just kind of been like feeling down most of the week. Then I went to Walmart to pick up my prescription, which is hard as hell to do, to get my wheelchair into the back of a Mustang with one arm. That's a trick. But anyway, there's all these people the entire time like asking, "Oh, do you want me to push your cart for you? Do you want me to put water in there? Do you want me to reach up there for this box of cereal?" And I just, all the time, I'm like, so many people are self-centered and all this, but it was nice to see that. Just everybody was being helpful.
Absolutely.
I still think that BX is probably just at the last second, like an Eddie Nketiah goal, comes out with probably the best comment of the evening.
Yeah.
Comes in at the back post. He goes into the box in the final seconds in extra time. BX goes into the box through the Ljungberg and just nods it in.
If you've seen The Walking Dead and you've seen the governor, he had like a jar full of zombie heads. He had jars of zombie heads. So
I'll be like one of those Futurama ones.
Tony's medical records segment should come with a mental health warning. Definitely. Listen, Tony, kudos to you. You've always got a good attitude about what's going on with you, and we hope you're
I try to.
on the road to getting better, feeling better, and we enjoy having you with us as well.
Yeah, right? And I'll share one more thing of a health deal.
Sorry, I asked.
Today I went to the rheumatologist. They do a sedimentation rate, which is how inflamed your body is. And that's perfectly normal now. And they do a C-active protein that also shows the inflammation. And that's perfectly normal now too. So the chemo drugs and all the infusions and shit are making my body not attack my body as much. And I feel much better.
I'm just trying to work out whether Gary's frozen or not.
No,
he's not. He's not.
Gary's
I thought he just nodded and went to sleep. But...
No, I'm still here.
Listen, this is what's great about you all out there watching us as well. It was a small select group within the circle, but we do like when you come in live. You watch us on Rewind.
So anyway, right, as we letting it out in, it's almost 3 hours and people are still tuned in. I've found this problem. I don't know why, but my left testicle is fucking massive. But the right one,
this is where
the right one's like a walnut.
Can I enter? Can I? Can we move on? Can we go?
Yes, we can go.
Hey, I was just telling you about my ailment. I was just telling you about my ailment.
I don't want to hear.
Sorry. Can I just remind you that the title of the podcast is...
It's like a medicine ball.
Making up for lost time. And
But
these
just the
two,
one. The other one's
I
all right.
do.
It's just-
these two took it to the. There you go. Took it to. They're
Yeah.
making up for lost time. These two. So
I was being positive. Come on.
You were not
Yes, I
all right.
was.
the
salty.
cat keeps trying to pour it at it like it's a toy or some shit.
Why don't you wear clothes?
I can't fit
Right.
them on. I can't.
We,
They don't fit anymore.
Hey, Zell.
we're out
Anyway.
of here.
Anyway, on that night,
Sounds
now,
like
say
my
good
grandfather
night,
when he used to
Tony.
wear silk boxers.
Say goodnight, Tony.
Good night, Tony.
All right.
Good night, everyone.
We have a podcast on Sunday. We're going to be talking about the City game, this FA Cup. I also want you to think about, are we better than the Invincibles? We'll be talking about that on Sunday. Take care, everybody. Are we better than the Invincibles? Will we be better than the Invincibles?
Come on, you
Take care.
guys.
Like a space hopper.
We're out of here. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Sydney.
Slap a like as you leave.